Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hivemind Recap Podcast, November 2021, the final recap episode before our end of year awards coming out next month. I'm excited. I know you guys are. If you're new here, my name is Jake. I'm here with Justin, Derek, and Jacob as per usual. We're here to talk about all of our favorite releases from the month of November. And yeah, how you guys feeling tonight?
Someone go back a month ago and tell me that December's coming next month because I don't fucking believe it.
It's coming in a couple days.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is in a couple days. Jesus
Hold
Christ!
on.
I was just ordering. I was ordering
3 days
some
before.
Christmas gifts on
3
Black
days.
Friday, and I was telling my mom, "Yeah, they're gonna arrive at home in early December." And I'm like, "Wait, that's in like 4 fucking days."
Yeah.
It's crazy.
How did we get there? This was like, it felt like this year and the past year, I guess like 2020, have felt like simultaneously the shortest and longest years of all time. I feel like on a month-to-month basis, it's at least for me, it's like, wow, this month felt like it dragged by, and then I get to the end of the month and I'm like, oh shit, where'd the month go?
Yeah. Actually,
To be fair, a
Big
lot of
actually.
2020 was pretty forgettable.
Yeah. Shit, I can't even remember what I was doing a month ago. We recently had Thanksgiving. We postponed ours to yesterday just because it was a lot easier. Gotta say, for anybody who's never tried Saturday Thanksgiving is the way to go because you're not stressing out about cooking
what about
shit.
Monday Thanksgiving?
Oh my good gravy! Well, I guess
Oh
I
my
could
God. You did not just say, "Oh my good
Monday.
gravy."
Oh,
You
shit.
did not just say, "Oh my good gravy."
That is like the most like
Yo.
70s thing I've heard.
Stop.
October Monday.
Can't edit that one out.
Derek is a closet millennial confirmed.
Look, man. Stop. Yeah, no, not having to prep for Thanksgiving on like a Wednesday night, like after you're home from work or whatever, and just getting to vibe and then like taking Thursday, Friday to prep. That was the moves. But anyway, my whole point with that was that my brother-in-law came over and he was like, "Oh, you remember this thing that happened last Thanksgiving?" And I'm like, No, I have literally no recollection of last Thanksgiving. Like this past year and a half has just been a complete and utter blur for me. But
Yeah.
I feel like I remembered what last Thanksgiving was 2 days ago how many 4 days ago was Thanksgiving?
don't ask me, mine was yesterday.
It was like a month ago for me.
Whenever typical Thanksgiving on a Thursday is for most Americans, I feel like I remembered what the 2020 Thanksgiving was then, but 4 days removed, I have no idea. And I feel like that says a lot without saying anything at all.
Means you had too
Anyway,
much to drink.
huh?
Just kidding.
I was transition moding and you questioned me and threw off my rhythm.
It's over. It's over.
It's
Oh,
over.
we better restart.
No.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hivemind podcast. This is
Someone
Jacob
stop
here.
him.
Oh, what?
If you forgot, Jacob is still here. I know we don't lock him behind a paywall, but
Yeah, unlike some other people.
yeah.
Listen.
We can't.
All right.
I didn't pay.
Beyond all the memes and shenanigans, real quick, if you want to keep up to date with this podcast and other things that we're up to music related, you can follow on social media at HiveMindRadio _ on Instagram and Twitter. HiveMind Radio Recap on Spotify. Check out our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can catch us going live with these podcasts at the beginning of every month, except for this month because Jacob is unavailable for the entire first weekend of December. So we're recording our November recap quite early.
In November.
In November for like the second time ever, because I remember June 2020 was the one other time that I think we did it in the same month.
How the fuck do you remember all this?
I remember
that.
I remember June 2020 because we had to delay it because I was going to be in Cape Cod for my birthday.
Oh, that's right.
So
You're weird.
what? I'm weird for having a birthday and going on
You're
vacation
weird
for
for
my
remembering
birthday.
that kind of stuff.
We just
No, I
got done
remember it.
talking
I
about like
remember
how everything like glossed over for the past year and a half. He's like, "Oh yeah, on this specific date at this time, I was doing that." I'm like, "Yeah, no, not a chance."
Going to Cape Cod is like the one consistent vacation I go on each year. It's kind of a pretty memorable event in the grand scheme of 2020.
I think that's fair.
But that's just me though. Let's get started with the singles for this month. Justin, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, you're taking this first one.
Yeah. So this was a surprise. I didn't expect to get this one added in. But I found it in one of my release radars of the month and quite enjoyed it. No Resolve. I believe this is the first time we're talking about them on the podcast. With their single Hostage. This is kind of one of the bands that you find on like a montage rock or something like that. And I say that like it's a bad thing, but also Nevertell was on there, and we know how we all like Nevertell.
Yeah.
True. I didn't really know how to describe this band, but then you're like, this is a band you would find on montage rock, and suddenly it just clicked. Like, holy
Yeah.
shit, you're just right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have several other songs that are found on Montage Rock. I don't know if this one was on there yet, because it does take a little bit of time for that to update. But man, I think this is the best release from them since they've like been putting out music. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with like their history or anything like that, so I can't quite go into full detail on like their entire discography. But from what I've listened to within the last like year and a half, I think this band is like definitely got some potential.
Yeah, for sure. I was pleasantly surprised. There I go saying it already. Fucking 6 minutes
Oh,
into
As
the
soon as you
episode.
said it, I perked up a little bit like a fucking meerkat. And I was like, oh, he said the line.
I said the line. Yeah,
Got the
I didn't
Google
really
card
know.
again.
I didn't really know what to expect for this. Hadn't heard of the band before, but I really enjoyed this. Solid,
I'm gonna
clean
echo
vocals.
that.
I enjoyed the opening in particular. I think the unclean verse towards the bridge breakdown section was a little off-putting at first, but like not terribly off-putting compared to some other breakdowns and heavy vocals that are off-putting to me. Overall, just a solid song.
Yeah, I think a good thing to know about the unclean vocals on this is that like they're not unobtrusive like a lot of unclean vocals that I find. That's something that I've kind of noticed this month is I was trying to find a lot of just music to listen to, and a lot of like newer bands I listen to. The uncleans just sound like they don't work well with the cleans, and this band is the opposite. I think they work quite well, especially the end of the breakdown where it goes the heavier "Let Me Out," and then it goes into the final chorus. I think that was probably my favorite part of the song.
It feels like every month there's always at least one single that I would describe as great, where I'm not like enamored with it, but I really enjoy everything about it, and I can't really pick out anything I don't like. And for me, this is that song of the month. You know, I'm same as Jake. I'd never heard of No Resolve before, but I can't say that there's anything groundbreaking here, you know, that I was able to really latch onto. But everything that I heard, like this, instrumentally, vocally, all of it's just like you said,
Good.
really solid.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very I would describe myself as satisfied. This plays
Yeah.
start to finish, and I'm like, nice. You know, like,
Satisfying montage rock.
Hell
God bless.
yeah. That's all I got on that.
I will say, you know, what was more than satisfying
Mhm.
was
Oh,
this new
please.
song from
Yeah.
Stand Atlantic called Molotov. Okay.
So Stand
could've-
Atlantic,
you-
right? They're a pop punk band, right?
Are they?
Stand Atlantic really said, "Fuck the pop, keep the punk" for this song. Like, this is is this like the heaviest they've ever been?
What's a
Yeah.
stereotype?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that would be considered like everything off Skinny Dipping and Pink Elephant was more so in terms of like pop punk without any consistent edge like this has, you know.
Yeah. Fuck the
But-
pop, keep the punk. That's kind of how I
They-
describe this song in a
they
nutshell.
did
That's
that
a very early episode
perfectly.
title.
No, man, I think I'm really at the point where I could confidently put Stand Atlantic in like my top 10 bands. Like this single and Death Wish, which by the way, I didn't notice I looked at their Spotify page earlier. This and Death Wish have like the same styling for their album art covers. So
Ooh.
maybe look, all I know
Top
is
10
that,
album of the year 2022, baby.
yeah, based solely on these two songs. The other, however many, could completely suck.
Yeah.
And if it's got these, so yeah, top 10, lock it in.
Yeah, these two singles are already leading me to believe it's going to be a better album than Pink Elephant, and that was already
Yeah.
like a top 10 album of 2020 for
yeah,
me.
top
So
5
like,
for me. Yeah, I think that Stand Atlantic really with this just prove that they can do whatever they want and get away with it. Like Death Wish definitely has some edge to it, and getting a Nothing Nowhere feature, which I believe was their first ever feature. I could be wrong. No, it's one of their first. They branched out a little bit with that, and then here it's just like, yeah, like you said, fuck the pop, keep the punk, and they're like, you know what, here. Let us demonstrate to you that we can do that just as perfectly as we do pop punk.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not generally a big fan of punk music, and this is executed with such incredible finesse. The energy's constant. It's repetitive, which I know has been a gripe with some other songs that I've listened to in the past, but it's repetitive in the best possible way. I would just put this on loop. I can't stop listening to it.
don't take a shot every time that she says "okay" in this song.
Yeah, you'll die. It'll be done. Yeah, no, bad idea.
Yep.
No, Stand Atlantic just consistently now delivering. I have no gripes with this song, with the band. At this point, they're just establishing their dominance and flexing on the whole scene, and I'm here for it.
I'm
I
also
have a
here for
gripe.
it.
You have a gripe?
Okay, let's hear it.
It's only 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's
Well,
fair.
Yeah, yeah. I will say that, like, I don't know if you've been listening to it the same way I have, but whenever I listen to this, it's rarely a one and done thing. It's like I get the urge to listen to it, so I throw it on repeat for a good like 20, 30 minutes, and at that point, I don't care how long it is because I'm hearing Molotov for half an hour. No, I'm almost. It's interesting that you say that because I think that if it was any longer, I might actually like it less. For like
Honestly, yeah, I almost
just-
agree with you there.
Yeah, just because I'm not as into punk styling. So when it's short and sweet, and if I want to play it more, I can. But otherwise, it's in and out, 2 minutes, 16 seconds. Like, I'm fine with that.
I'm like preemptively thinking about how this will sound in the album, and this will be thrown like somewhere in the middle of the album just as like a complete shakeup. And it's like, you don't want to hear that for like a 3.5, 4 minute type song, a shakeup that's that long in like the grand scheme of an album. But something quick like this, like almost like this isn't an interlude, but like this could almost act as like an interlude in a way, potentially. Am I off
Hey,
base?
wake up.
Yeah, like hey, wake up,
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
paying attention now that you're halfway through the album, and you're like if you're getting lost, wake the fuck up.
You say that, and suddenly this is the opener. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
why not?
Shambles. I think we're good to move on. Another female-fronted band that we had drop a brand new song this month, Future Palace, with their brand new song Paradise.
Jake ate well this release day.
He did.
I ate
He did.
really well.
It was a Thanksgiving dinner.
I was a little early, but it's the first 2 weeks of November were maybe like my two favorite release weeks in a row since end of September, and before that since like fucking March probably. Like getting Stand Atlantic and Future Palace on the same day, and then leading into what we get in the second week of November, which we'll be talking about soon enough. Oh boy, I was certainly eating well. Anyway, Future Palace coming off of a top 5 album of 2020 for me. Expectations were very high, and they managed to smash them out of the water. I heard the first time I heard this song, I was like, okay, yeah, this is really fucking good, but I still think that a lot of Escape, their debut album from last year, is better just because I've listened to it so much. An entire month has passed, and this is now my favorite Future Palace song. This band just has a way of connecting with me that very few bands do. They are coming for Dream State's throne as far as like female-fronted post-hardcore bands with screaming vocals are concerned. They're in the running with like Dream State, Spirit Box as everything unfolds. Future Palace have entered the ring with this song, which So at debut album last year, if you remember, had practically no screaming vocals in it.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to come out with this as their first single back was quite shocking. I thought that there was maybe a chance that we could get more of it because there was like a slight background scream on Break Free from that album. So I was like, maybe there's some potential for it. I didn't expect them to go this hard on the first song back and fully lean into like a metalcore anthem. And I think that's what this song is. And it's my favorite song of the month. Is it a surprise? I don't know. Maybe not. Probably not, actually, if you guys know how much I love this band.
I'm
But
a little surprised actually.
there
Just
was
a
one
just a
one other
tiny
song.
bit.
There was one
I
other
think
song
I
that
know
came
what it
close to contending it. But yeah, I am in love with this song. I got some lyrics that I want to say from this song, but before I get into that, if you guys have any thoughts, I'll let you jump in real quick.
It may not mean as much as you saying that it's your favorite Future Palace song, but this is my favorite Future Palace song.
This is my favorite Future Palace song.
Let's go, Justin.
Damn it, Justin.
Justin? Justin? He's dead. He's fucking dead. We
No, he's behind the paywall. He's behind.
No.
That's
True.
Oh yeah,
True.
guys. Justin just said
Yeah.
this was his favorite Future Palace song.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I this to me is just a perfect blend of cleans and uncleans executed fantastically. I think it's because it exceeded my expectations, but it also subverted them. Like you said, there weren't a lot of uncleans on the album last year, and this had, plenty of them.
Mhm.
And so it was something that I wasn't really expecting, but I'm glad that I got it. And I think because it was different like that, it kind of shook things up in a way that made me pay more attention to the song. And because of that, I've spent more time with it. And yeah, I was wishing that a lot of the stuff on the album last year clicked with me more than it did, as opposed to this, which was like a first listen, this slaps.
Yep.
I'm just gonna keep listening to it.
Yep. Jacob, you got anything to add? Quick.
No. I think it is time to move on.
No, I got some lyrics.
No,
though.
he had the lyrics.
I
He had
got
the
some
lyrics.
lyrics.
You fool!
Dang it! Damn it!
Buffoon.
Don't worry, we'll
he's back.
Idiot.
Justin's
we'll
here.
rewind time.
I
real
think
quick.
I think you need to roll back time a little bit.
Roll back time a little
Oh.
bit. I got some lyrics from this Future Palace song that I'm picking out lyrics from 4 different fucking parts of this song because, as I said,
Get
this
in
band
there.
connects with me in ways that very few bands do, and there's so many lyrics in this song that just work for me. Like even in the first verse where she just starts screaming with a "Wake me up, wake me up, make me feel." Just the vocal delivery on that captured me instantly, and it's one of my favorites of the song. The chorus, I feel like the rain dripping away. I run from this pain. I can't escape. I can't. I think that's super creative because with like the way that rain kind of drips and like it can kind of follow you sometimes. I don't know. I just think it's really creative. And then in the second verse, right before the chorus, I'm a stone cold soul dancing on my own to feel the burn inside my bones. Which is very relatable to me because the amount of times that I am locked in my college dorm room blasting this song at full volume at midnight just to try and feel something happened multiple times this month, I ain't gonna lie. And then probably my favorite lyric of the entire song comes in the breakdown, which hits brutally heavy. Will I finally find my happiness, recover from all that is past? Which is another line that really struck a chord with me. So yeah, highly recommend checking out Future Palace. I know this song has been doing numbers for them. Their monthly listener count has like more than doubled since the release of the song, and I couldn't be happier for them. This song's fantastic, and they are on the up and up. If they can keep adding the screaming elements that they added with this song on top of the fantastic melodies and clean vocals from Escape, the sky's the limit for this band as far as I'm concerned.
I'm not doing it again.
I think it's time to move on. What do you guys say?
Oh wow! Great original
Jacob, you
transition.
had
Jake.
one chance.
I wish somebody else could have
We
thought
literally
out of
let you have it.
that.
You just
My
gave
God,
up.
go! Just go!
And it's okay. I've dropped a brand new song called Time. So
It's time for me to admit that I just don't like this band. That's
Man.
that's what it's time.
I there's a few songs that I like by them, like Tragedy and STFU.
Yep,
But
those are two very
I
good
think
songs.
this is a weaker song by them in my opinion.
I don't think
Well,
this
it
is
is.
fantastic. I still
Yeah, I
think it's a
wouldn't really
solid song.
say this is weaker. There's a lot of weaker stuff on there on Aurora. I'd say this is probably like mid tier, not
Yeah,
upper
I would
tier.
agree with that. I think this was like a mid-tier song for them. I love the clean vocals of this band, so whenever they lean more into those than the heavy vocals, I'm always going to be a happy man. And that's exactly what this song does. It's primarily clean vocals, and I'm a sucker for it. That's kind of all I have to say on this one.
I swear, their combination of instrumentals and vocals, every time I listen to them, doesn't matter the fucking song, but I always think of, I don't know why, but Love Roller Coaster from fucking Hot Red Chili Peppers. I
What a
don't know
comparison.
why.
Why? You know, I don't know why either. I'm gonna be
It's
honest.
so
I'm
fucking
thinking
weird.
about it. And
I
I'm
think it's because I used to watch when I was a kid. My dad, terrible with movie choices, would let me watch Beavis and Butthead when I was like 9.
good.
So that's probably where that came from. But this is all right. I'm not impressed by it because again, this is very similar to the sound that they had on Aurora.
Yeah, it
In
would
fact,
definitely fit
I
right in. With
yeah,
that
I feel like
album.
you could probably slot this right in and no one would notice. But it's kind of also the problem with New School and Is Okay. A lot of their older songs had I'd say a lot more individuality to them, and you don't really get that with like any of their most recent releases this year. And I kind of hope that changes for the better.
I think there were a couple of standout songs from that album. SDFU and Face the Facts being the most notable ones for me. They just had some very memorable instrumental moments, but I definitely think that this band has a tendency to kind of blend in with itself.
Yeah.
Which is a problem, but at the same time,
I mean, if you like
that-
if you like
yeah,
the
if
sound,
you like the
it's not a
sound, then
problem.
you like the sound, and that's how I feel about it. So,
But I feel like people that's trying to cater to and trying to get new followers, you're gonna be left in the dust. I guess we're just moving on.
Well, I
Nice.
I've seen it.
I was very awkward.
we were all
Was
waiting.
that what was going on?
Yeah, we were all waiting.
Perfect.
No perfect transitions on this one. Echo Chamber by North Lane.
Speaking of songs that I don't like,
This disco core.
this is my least favorite North Lane song.
Honestly, this song at the beginning, I feel like it sounds like "We Got the Moves" by
It
Eskimo
does.
Cowboy.
It does.
And
Yeah.
then and then you go into it, and there's like no variation, and this album is not looking too hot.
Good. No.
I like this
Especially-
song like more than I expected to.
I like
still
the music
don't.
video.
I still don't love North Lane. I'm not like fully invested into them yet, but I think I like this more than was it Clockwork? Was the other one from earlier this year?
Yeah.
I think I like this one more. I really liked the chorus of this song. Just a very, very catchy chorus. And yeah, I don't know. It's a North Lane song, I guess.
It's really weird to me because this and Clockwork are both like, it feels like they're both unique in the sense that I'm not hearing any other bands really doing this sort of style. But then the further you get into the songs, the more uninspired they sound because everything feels very like bland and one-noted.
Yeah,
Like you said, there's not a lot of variation. I don't know. It's
it's
aspects of the song.
it's like 2.5 minutes breakdown, and then the song finishes the same thing
Yeah,
was for the 2.5 minutes.
yeah. It's just weird. Like
And the
I don't
breakdown's
get it.
weak.
Yeah, exactly. At least give me a
Yeah,
strong breakdown.
I enjoyed this song a decent amount more than I expected to, as I said, and I don't remember what the breakdown sounds like in the song, if that says anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to be excited for New North Lane, but I wasn't a fan of Alien, and this is a step for me in the wrong direction from
You
how I
weren't
want
a
them to
fan of
sound.
Alien? Oh
No,
man.
no, absolutely not. No, I actively that was probably one of my bottom 10 albums of 2019.
Damn.
I'm a Node and Mesmer kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm not too impressed with this direction, especially Clockwork being the closer on the album. Oh,
Yeah, well, see,
that just that.
that's so annoying. I hate when bands put out the closer as a single, and if you're gonna do it, at least
Oh,
make it a good song.
we're gonna talk about
Oh
that.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Foreshadowing.
Oh God. Now, despite not liking the last two songs, let's talk about a song I did like. We Came as Romans have put out a new single, Daggers, featuring 0936. It finally happened, guys. I like a We Came as Romans song.
And you know what? It's
What?
all right. But here's my problem with it.
Uh-huh.
We've had 2 songs with features. And
Mm.
this album is supposed to be showing us how they've moved on from Kyle, and it feels like, I don't know, it feels like they're relying on, like, when you release you release one song as a single with a feature. Okay, whatever. That's cool. Now we got 2 singles with features. I
Yeah.
don't think it's a good look.
Yeah, I would have
In
liked
in
I
my
mean,
opinion.
do we have the track listing for this? Because nothing's been announced yet, right? Like, there's no release
don't
date
think
or
so.
album
I haven't
title.
seen anything.
All
I
the
was gonna
all the
say-
artwork seems similarly themed, but
Something I guess that because I mostly agree. I was more thinking like I would want songs with features that I enjoy to be saved for the album. And
mhm.
like I get that like this is definitely marketable, especially on like gym playlists, new core. This would make it on Liquid Metal or Octane, like that's fine. I guess I want then if we're getting both the features on the album as singles, I'd want at least one more for the album. But then, like you said, that circles back to okay, well, here's how we're going without Kyle, and then oh, they're relying on the features, you know. So like sort of like a catch-22 type scenario. But I'll have to say that I guess all it took for me to like We Came as Romans was for them to be just really, really heavy and bring in the variation with the 0936, an artist who I enjoy and who I think the rap vocals fit perfectly on this song. You've got a big build, a massive breakdown, just unrelenting song. And I think it's the perfect length for what it is. It's the structures, nothing to write home about, but it's executed wonderfully. I guess I'm looking at this was one of my ads, I think. I can't tell because Jake put all my songs in the playlist for me, but you know, I I'm just finally happy to like a We Came In's Roma song, let alone as much as I do this one. I don't see this exiting my rotation through the end of the year and in the next year. It's just I can't get enough of this.
This one has taken me the longest to get into. I think because I don't particularly like heavy We Came as Romans nearly as much.
Mm.
People may say that, oh, Black Hole and Dark Bloom are just radio rock. I actually enjoy that sound from them a lot more based on what I have heard.
You would like their older stuff. I'm telling you
Yeah,
right
I've
now.
I've checked out 1 or 2 songs from what was that last album? I don't even remember because I only
Cold Like War.
Yeah, I checked 1 or 2 songs off that and I did enjoy them. So it is on my list of things to get to. But the song has grown on me throughout the month more and more. Like once I adapted to the unclean vocals being like a primary element of the song, It is a heavy, brutal, very much like a gym playlist type of song. And I pretty much agree with most of what you say. Most of what you said, Derek, just to a lesser degree of enjoyment.
Justin, any thoughts?
I gave this one a listen before the podcast. I enjoyed it, but Weak Aim is Romans is not a band that I really put in like any of my repeat rotations. Like I'll enjoy it, but it's not something I'm probably gonna go back to.
You know what? I am gonna be going back to for a while.
Death.
Oh,
This new song from Bad Omens, "The Death of Peace of Mind." Bad Omens really, they just shadow dropped this. No tease or anything. Just suddenly midnight, the night the song dropped, midnight, they tweet "The Death of Peace of Mind" with a link. And that's it. And I'm like, holy shit, it's new Bad Omens.
it was the night before they went on
it's so
tour,
fucking good. I don't remember.
I think it was.
It might have been. I don't know. But either way, I was like, wait, holy shit, new Bad Omens. What the fuck? I don't know what I was doing that night, but I dropped whatever I was doing to listen to this song immediately, and it did not disappoint. This is in close contention with Future Palace for my favorite song of the month.
This is my favorite song of the month.
Damn.
Yep. Safe to say
And
that
I
this
get to
is
see it live.
safe to say that this is my most anticipated album of 2022 for the moment, based off of this one song alone.
This is so good.
Justin?
I didn't get to it.
Oh, dude, come on! I listened to it like 40 times. You can listen
Only
to it
40?
once.
Those are rookie numbers, bro.
Fine, I'll listen to it now. Keep talking for 5 minutes.
So, it's really repetitive, but I think that makes it like it makes it like super catchy. Like I was singing lyrics on like my second, third listen.
Oh yeah, definitely. It also kind of works with the way that the song builds over time as well, where the instrumentation slowly starts to creep in more and more, and then you hit the breakdown at the end, and then it's like super prominent for the final chorus. Just a really fantastic build up of a song. Noah's vocals, amazing as always, both cleans and uncleans. It's just an incredible song. I don't know what more there is to say.
I'll tell you how it is live.
This sounds like a Plot in You B-side.
Oh my gosh! Thank you for mentioning that. Because I actually wanted to say it. It's not. I wouldn't even say B-side. He sounds literally like.
Yeah, this
It
has
sounds like
Funny
something-
how Bad Omens are doing the Plot in You better than the Plot in You ever were.
Oh,
That's a take. That is a take. No, this is like, it's got the production vibes, the vocal vibes, the lyrics are
The
horny like the
album
Plot in
artwork.
You. Like,
The album artwork, too.
It's just, I mean, I'm not gonna complain. It's fantastic. I am always impressed with. I believe the vocalist's name is Noah, right?
Yeah.
I am always impressed with what he can do. That like switch between their debut album to their last album and then onto something like Limits and then this is like Bad Omens has to be next up.
I
It gotta
remember
be.
when that album, their first album came out. Everyone was saying, "Oh, he sounds like Ollie Sykes. Oh, he sounds like Ollie Sykes." Now he sounds like Landon Tours.
Sounds like Landon Tours. That is good progression. We like to see that. No, I don't know. I could not put this song down. It's not my favorite song of the month or top 3 or anything like that, but I would say it's probably top 5, at least in terms of singles. I mean, Bad Omens suddenly they had me interested with the songs off the deluxe of their last album, and then now it's like
deluxe songs.
Yeah, which broke the mold because I usually don't like deluxe songs, but
Yeah.
no, now I'm like, okay.
It's
I'm
funny how
invested in
Limits
Bad
and Never
Omens. They've
Know,
sold me.
the 2 deluxe like original songs for that album, are 2 of the 3 best songs on that album, period.
Yeah.
Like, and then they follow that up with this. Like, Bad Omens
Just
are on a fucking
incredible.
tear.
Absolutely. Speaking of being on a fucking tear, Brand of Sacrifice have released a new version of Light Flood, this time featuring Will Ramos of
Well, I
Little
didn't know
Short.
this was a re-release.
Yeah. No, this is. Did you ever listen to that album?
No, this is
Oh,
my
you-
first Brand of Sacrifice song.
Oh, dog.
I just
you
saw the
gotta
Will
get in there.
Ramos. I just saw the Will Ramos feature and was like, oh.
No, so this is the re-release of the title track from their album earlier this year, which,
Ah.
by the way, it's not like a top 10 album for me, but I think that is single-handedly the most memorable album listening experience I had all year, just because you're in a constant state of like stank face and saying what the fuck to yourself. I mean,
So
yeah, it's not the heaviest shit I've ever heard, but it's up there, and this somehow managed to make it heavier.
So do they normally, like, at the end of the song they go into like a almost like the Browning-esque electronic thing? Do they do that often?
Kinda, it's a lot more like symphonic than electric.
Mm.
It's very
I
it's
think I'd
very
enjoy that then.
orchestral in the vibe of maybe like that last Lorna Shore album, but
Okay.
less
Maybe I wouldn't.
black metal influenced and more like just beat the shit out of you type thing. It's like I think Foe of the Inhuman, which features Eric from I Prevail, who somehow managed to hit
That's the
gutturals.
one. That's the song you forced me to listen to earlier this year.
That song has 3 breakdowns in 1 minute. Or if it's not 1 minute, it's a minute and a half. And the
Okay,
song is 4 minutes long. And there's
I'm
clean
intrigued.
vocals on the album. I believe it's on I think it's Vengeance. Shit, yeah. I mean, if nothing else, it's worth listening to just for the what the fuck factor. I mean,
That's a
it's
great way to put it, because I remember when you forced me to listen to that song earlier this year.
You forced me to listen to it. What the heck?
You were. It was on a release night.
It was like, because I'm not a deathcore fan, when you like are like, Jake, you need to listen to this for the what the fuck factor, it's like the blank stare that I give my screen when I listen to deathcore is how I remember this band. Of like, what the fuck? I do not care about this at all, but what the fuck?
Can we get a single image of that deadpan stare just for like an emote for whenever we do emotes?
I'll do it.
So I feel like that'd be
Alright.
appropriate.
I'll do it.
No. I didn't think that I would ever, because when I first heard this album, I was playing Pokemon on my DS. And there was a point almost every song where I had to put my DS down and just kind of like stare at the wall and headbang. It was just ridiculous, and I didn't think, like I said, they could get any heavier. And then you throw in some Will Ramos snarls and gutturals and all the other inhuman noises that he makes, and it somehow manages to make it heavier. And Brand of Sacrifice. They put out Yu-Gi-Oh merch recently, by the way. Shameless plug for that shit, because it's the most fire merch I've ever seen in my life. As far as I'm concerned, Brand of Sacrifice and Lorna Shore own deathcore, and it's kind of like this collaboration should have broken the internet in a theoretical world.
What? Speaking of that, but where the fuck is Chelsea Grin?
Yeah, I don't know. Hurry up, Chelsea Grin, new material, chop chop, like get in there.
I think they're too busy with Darko.
Well, okay, well they need to stop being too busy with Darko. Start giving us new material. But until then, Brand of Sacrifice, Lorna Shore, running deathcore, fantastic single featuring both vocalists. Check this out if you haven't, because it's something that needs to be heard.
Yeah, I will be checking out the album.
Justin.
I miss 2003. That's in my heart, but that's also the next single by As It Is.
Now life is boring, let's write a story where we never grow up. So 4 in the morning, singing New Found Glory at the top of our lungs.
Wait.
And
Before we get started, what do you think of Bad Omens?
Oh. Yeah, I forgot I listened to that. It's good. It's added to my playlist.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay.
I'll
We
have to
needed
get
at
in more
least one of
listens.
those this episode where all of us are in agreement on it.
I mean, we'll have another one coming up not too far in the future.
We'll see. This is my favorite As It Is single. I think.
Yeah,
of
I'm,
This
all the
is
release-
either my favorite or second favorite behind
release-
my favorite or second favorite behind I Don't Give a Fuck.
I'm glad that single-handedly, as it is, are teaching the world about the great year that was 2003 and all the good shit that was released in that punk age. Because man, a lot of the songs and bands that they referenced in this song are just so good for that era. Fucking Motion City Soundtrack, All American Reject, Simple Plan, Paramore, like just a lot
Mayday
of good shit.
Parade. Yeah, so I didn't realize that this is the 5th single off the upcoming album.
It is, yeah.
Mm.
They dropped like 2 singles like at the same time a while
Yeah.
back that I don't think we talked about.
Yeah, I think that was one of the ones that was when we like started to leave out some of the singles, and none of us were
Yeah.
really feeling them. I thought they were okay. Like I have them
Yeah,
both still in my playlist just in case I ever want to listen to them, but they aren't
Yeah.
super memorable. Unlike
This
this.
album's like super soon.
Wait,
When
they,
is it?
fuck, I remember.
February.
Okay. Shit, they're gonna drop another single, aren't they? We're gonna have 6 tracks.
I don't think so.
We'll see. We'll see. But I mean, like this and I Don't Give a Fuck are really selling me on the album where otherwise, I wouldn't be as into it. I kind of miss some of the edge that they had on the Great Depression, which I guess I would
that's
call
kind of why
my-
I'm thinking this is probably be on the same level. I do like some of the songs off Great Depression more than at least 4 of the singles here. I think I Miss 2003 is probably my favorite as it is song at the moment. If not, I think the Great Depression or I think Boys Who Cry is also like a good song.
Yeah.
I think
That's
it's
probably-
funny how there's so many references to like bands in like the early 2000s, and I never really listened to a lot of those bands growing up.
You're uncultured.
Yeah, I am. I'm aware. But like I never really listened to a lot of those bands. I know like a couple of the hit songs, like some stuff from All American Rejects and Paramore, and a couple others. But I don't really have any attachment to the year 2003. But that doesn't make a difference when a song is just this good anyway. It's just a really fun and catchy song about like missing the old days. Like you could probably just replace 2003 with any other year that you think back of, like, oh, these were the good old days, That's kind of what I feel like. This song is like reminiscing on like the good old days of your past and whatever those years are. Sure, this song is geared towards 2003, but like the overall message could still be applied for like different generations, I feel, even if there are specific hints to 2003. I just feel like it's a really cool song.
This is the only single that I've enjoyed.
Huh.
Not even I Don't Give a Fuck.
No,
Man,
I really
That's
enjoyed the Great
surprising me.
Depression as well. But yeah, these singles have been. But yeah, this one pretty good.
mind you, even with what I heard, I can already see this like not being too high on my top 10 next year, but who knows, it might grow on me.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, and there's still plenty more songs to release. I don't really know what I'm gonna get anymore with this band, so I'm just gonna sit back, let it happen. Thanks for this fantastic song. We'll see you when the album drops.
Yeah.
Got another one of your songs up next, so I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely, the fucking kings of Eurovision, Blind Channel, bringing it again with "We Are No Saints."
I think
And
this is a very on-point song for them to release.
Holy shit, these guys have not missed since Eurovision.
Yeah, you're very right about that. But I also think like lyrically, like now that they've like kind of blown up this year since Dark Side doing so well in Eurovision, to release this song and be like, we are no saints, like we aren't perfect. Like I don't know, that feels very self-aware of like, yeah, we're a lot more popular now, but don't expect us to act any different type thing. So the message is cool. The song is also just fantastic. I really appreciated what they did with the chorus, where the first one they have the drums kicking in really fast, and then they kind of drop the tempo a little bit for the second chorus. Reminds me of something that Caskets does in a lot of their choruses, where they change up the tempo of the drums in the chorus, and I really appreciated that in this song.
I also do like the rap vocals. I feel like ever since Balboa came out, they've just been, for lack of better terms, swinging for really good rap vocals recently. There was still pretty good stuff that was singles last time, and in their debut album, no, third album. Is it third? I don't remember numbers.
Yes.
I don't remember, but
Yeah. This
this
is leading into a fourth album, presumably.
they are definitely improving, and I'm excited for the upcoming developments.
As am I. I'm just hoping that they don't drop the ball like they did with Violent Pop last year. Because right now they're on a roll, and they were on a roll going into the release of Violent Pop last year. So I'm just hoping that they don't make the same mistake again. From my perspective, anyway.
I mean, at this point, they have basically all eyes on them. How many
Mhm.
monthly listeners are they at right now? 1.2 mil, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a lot of sights set on them.
Yep. They are, in a way, carrying Finland's back right now. In
Like
terms
the
of,
entire country of Finland just rides solely on the success of Blind Channel.
Well, the Finland rock and metal scene, I guess, in a way. Like, Blind Channel have to
Yeah.
probably be like the biggest name in Finland right now.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
could
that-
not name you any other Finnish bands.
Speaking of Kings of Finland, let's talk about the Kings of Sweden, right?
Yep, you would be right.
Yup.
Amaranth,
Yeah.
Kings and Queens. Amaranth have dropped a brand new song called PvP. And this is maybe the most nervous I have ever been going into an Amaranth release. When they tease that they're dropping a new song, initially I'm like, let's fucking go, it's new Amaranth. Then I hear that this is a song for the national esports team of Sweden, and I am suddenly concerned over the fact that a song is named PvP and the potential cringe that could ensue. Luckily, I don't think this song enters cringe territory at all. They dealt with the lyricism about as well as I think they could. Obligatory headshot lyric in the chorus. I'm just glad that this isn't a cringe fest. Like, it's the typical Amaranth sound that you would expect from their past, like, 4 fucking albums at this point. But I was just very nervous that the lyrical content would just make this song unlistenable for whatever reason. And it's not. I really enjoy this song. So I'm just thankful on that front. It's not the best thing they've ever released, but I don't know if there was any way that they were going to make this the best thing they ever released, given the lyrical content they had to cater this towards.
Yeah, it's all right. I don't think I will. Well, nothing comes to mind that I've actively disliked in terms of an Amaranth song, you know. But they've been harder pressed to like really impress me recently, and this one also isn't cutting it. But I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for Amaranth, you know.
Yeah.
And no, I am happy with it for what it is.
Yep,
I think
that's exactly where I'm at. That's exactly where
Yeah.
I'm at. Yeah. From Kings of Finland to Kings of Sweden to Kings of America ?
If not, they're up there. Rain City Drive, formerly known as Slaves, have dropped their new single, Cutting It Close.
Is the Hivemind in effect on this one, fellas?
I think by obligation more so at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with this, and that's a
It's-
good thing, but there's also nothing to set it apart from what they were.
Yes. Perfectly said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this. Okay. I they gave us a great chorus, whatever. I mean, I don't think they've ever given us a bad chorus. I don't think I guess Rain City Drive has ever put out a bad chorus in any era.
Well,
of
okay.
this
In any
band's
era, I was
iteration.
about to say, well, I mean, this is the only song they have is Rain City Drive. So,
Well, yeah, no, but I mean,
You can consider the last album basically an era.
yeah, and that extends to this. I think this chorus is fantastic. I think that the verses are maybe a little, I don't want to say bland, but it feels less raw. It feels like there's some sort of, it's minimal, but there's an effect on his vocals, maybe in the vein of like an auto tune that makes them sound a little more processed. So the verses sound more generic. Like even the more generic, I guess, quote unquote stuff off to Better Days felt organic in some way, as opposed to this, which feels like they proved that they had staying power with the last album. They're like, okay, now here's the single tailored for radio. And I mean, they make phenomenal pop rock. I mean, just this is about as textbook incredible
Yeah.
pop rock I think as you
Yeah.
could possibly
Yeah.
get. But
Yep.
I don't know. This to me feels like Witch Hunt in a lot of ways, where Witch Hunt for me felt like the most uninspired, bland song off to Better Days, and I get the same sort of vibes from this, where the song is still great. I wish I could get more from what I believe is a debut single for an unannounced album.
Something that I thought about while you were saying that, and that kinda is my feeling about them at this moment. I haven't, we haven't obviously heard what else they've got up their sleeve,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't really need radio rock at this moment. I feel like after this single, I really want to see the next single kind of raise the bar with what they've got. I feel like this single was just to test the waters, get the new name out there,
Yeah,
get people on board. I really want to see the next song just upgrade them to the a better status than what they already
Mhm.
are, because they're at this level, but they're staying at it. They're not going anywhere,
As
which I guess
much
is
as,
fine
like,
for some people.
As much as I would love to hear To Better Days too, I would also love to see them start experimenting more with their sound.
Hmm.
And I
What
feel
I-
like this song would fit almost exactly into Better Days. And like, I don't know.
What I'm scared of is that To Better Days was just so fucking good that what they're releasing now is going to be good, but maybe a step down. Not like that I think that this is going to by any means project the entire trajectory of their upcoming album, but just like it's got me afraid that they may have set the bar too high for themselves starting out. And so in branching out, maybe depending if this sound stays the same, I don't want my expectations to be too high, but I'm also scared that they're going to subvert them, I don't know. But I mean, all I have to say is still a really good song. I still
Yeah,
really
yeah.
enjoy it.
There's
it's just-
nothing bad about the song. The song's
We
great.
spent like 3 or 4 minutes criticizing this song, but I think we can all like unify and agree, Hivemind in effect, that this song is great.
Yeah, I mean,
It's good.
yeah. It's at the end of the day, it's a good song, but we criticize them because we know they
Can do
have the
better.
potential
Well,
to do
and
better.
I mean, the debut single for the last album was Heavier, which I could still to this day have no gripes with. So, like, how?
Not
I mean,
even
the only
mixed.
gripe is that they changed the mixing
Yeah,
on it.
yo, fuck you, Rain City Drive, for improving the mixing. And then taking the old version off Spotify. That was not nice. But, yeah, no, I'm hoping for better from them moving
For better
forward.
days.
For better
Yeah,
days.
yeah, for better days, some Rain
To
City
even
Drive.
better days.
I also do not like the name change. Well,
I don't either.
I don't like the new name. I don't mind a name change, but this is
Yeah,
not a great name.
no. No.
I think it's fine.
It's fine, but like, come on, there's got to be better choices. I mean, I don't have any, but
The kings of the next 5 lines asking bad questions go
Yeah.
to Rain City Drive.
come on now. Like, what the fuck is that? I mean, it was what? It was something like the reference was it was Manchester, like the rainy city of England or whatever.
Well, yeah, Manchester was like I
Manchester
think the
Super
place where they
Reds.
had their first show like as a group
Yeah.
since Johnny fucked it up.
Yeah. Well, that could apply to any number of things, but yeah, I don't know. Whatever. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We may grow to love it. We may grow to love this song. You know, if this is the direction they're going in, I think it's too early to call. But something that I am not too early to call on is that with the new release of their single Octane, Until I Wake are becoming one of my favorite up and coming bands.
You ain't wrong on that front. This
This
is another
fucking
fantastic song
slaps.
from them.
They've got 7 total songs out, and in my humble opinion, they are 7 for 7.
I could guarantee you a 6 for 7 at least, including
Okay.
this song.
I'll take it.
There's like 1 or 2 songs off of that self-titled EP that I cannot remember like off the top of my head, but they're probably still great. I just need to listen to them more. It's just the other songs on that EP are just incredible. That I spent way more time with some songs than others.
Yeah.
Until I Wake are definitely one of the most promising bands to come around in a while, I think. I feel like they're having like a similar rise to fame in a way that Caskets did, where Caskets kind of just showed up, dropped that EP with like Signs and what was the other song on there? I don't remember. I know Falling Apart did really well for them too, and then
Ghost
they
Like You.
released the album. Yeah, Goes Like You. I feel like Until I Wake are kind of on that same trajectory, with Self-Medicated being like their big breakout song, and now they're just steamrolling on that momentum, releasing better and better stuff. And supposedly this is the lead single for an upcoming debut album that I am very excited for come next year.
Easily my top 5, maybe top 3 most anticipated albums of next year. I mean, this band went from nowhere on my radar to holy shit, I can't get enough of everything that they're doing. It's generic metalcore done flawlessly. I mean, and like I guess in terms of styling, you know, like this has something to distinguish it in terms of like electronic influences in the instrumentals for the verses, which by the way, I think is probably my favorite part of this song. But it's, you know, they've got the clean vocals, they've got the unclean vocals. The clean vocals are the same sort of styling that you hear on a lot of other metalcore bands, but for whatever reason, it's feels like it's done to the nines with this band. And I was talking earlier how Bad Omens needs to be the next band up, that Until I Wake is going to explode next year, I think. I have confidence that as their name gets out there more, I know this is getting radio play, ironically, on Octane, that I want them to get big. And so sometimes there's bands where you're like, you know, I don't want them to get big. I don't want the, you know, my little hidden gem to go out into the big wide world. But with this, I feel like it's so incredibly deserved because the production, mixing, just instrumentation, vocals, the talent is all there right out of the gate. It's just incredible. I'm floored with everything this band is doing.
Yeah, I don't really have too much more to add. You're pretty spot on with everything there.
Jacob, Justin, y'all got anything?
I
No, this is
want to
another
like
single I
this
didn't get to.
band more than I do. I don't know. I can't get into it.
Man,
Like what song is it? Nightmares Saved. That's it.
that's still my favorite song of theirs.
Yeah, I don't know. I really do.
Well, maybe with that upcoming album 2022, we'll find something that can
Maybe.
pique your interest a little more.
Maybe
Fingers
maybe I'm like Derek with Caskets in this situation.
Oh man, I hope not.
Now you know how it feels, Derek.
Not bad, not bad. Speaking of bands who I think deserve to blow up, we've got a little podcast darling here. Wavered have dropped their new song, When the Sun Never Shines on Me.
Shout out YouTube recommendations for dropping this one into my recommended box earlier this month.
Big facts. Thank you to YouTube Recommended for showing this to Jake so he could show this to me, because this is a top 5 song of the month for me.
This is also a B-side off of Architects for those that wish to exist.
No, this is a B-side off of what is it? Holy Hell, I think. More so, this sounds like Architects straight out of 2016-2018, bar the second verse where he hits some notes that are a little lower than what we may be used to with Sam Carter. But I mean, the instrumentation, the rest of the vocals, all of it is just that era of Architects brought to life in 2021. And it's like you hear a lot of bands nowadays take influence from that. It's almost like a carbon copy in a lot of ways, but for me, it's done better. I don't like 2016 to 2018 era Architects. Something is holding it back. Whereas with this, it's got that vibe, it's got that sound, but it clicks.
I'm in the same boat. I still don't really like most of Holy Hell, but this song really clicked with me.
I mean, it's just, if God forbid something ever happens to Architects in general, you know how like bands from like the 80s, they get the cover bands that show up at festivals. These guys could easily pull something off like that with Architects. I mean, the resemblance is that strong.
Well, I think that's really just for the song, though. This is only their second song they've released, but the other one that they
That's true. I did listen to the other one. It didn't sound like
it was much more Queen vocals on that other one. Yeah. So I'm very curious to see how this band progresses, because I feel like they could be really diverse.
They sound a lot like Architects, like we said, but I feel like I almost mentioned it too much because I don't want to detract from how talented this band is. I mean, like, it's not easy to sound not only instrumentally and vocally like Architects. I mean, that is a talented band, and these guys pull it off with what seems like ease. I mean, it's just incredible. I wouldn't expect this level of, I almost want to say flawlessness from such a small band. I mean, just incredible stuff. This floored me when I first listened to it. I just didn't expect it to be as good, as polished as it was, and I am so beyond happy with this. We got this and Until I Wake as the two bands where I've discovered them this year. They're now on my radar, and I'm so beyond excited for everything that they're releasing afterwards.
I get a lot of small bands popping up into my YouTube recommendations just with watching a lot of music videos. Very rarely do bands this good show up in the YouTube recommended, but when they do, the payoff is worth it.
Yeah. Just awesome stuff. Jacob or Justin, did you guys get a chance to listen to this?
I did, and you... Oh, go ahead.
I listened to this a little bit. Wasn't a fan of it.
It's okay.
I was going to say I totally agree. It sounds like Architects.
Yep.
Do you like it, though?
It's all right.
I'll take it. I guess, Jake, between this song and the last one, I'm very curious to see how this progresses. Because then, if we get another song that sounds nothing like the first two, I'm just going to be really confused and simultaneously very excited that the band is this diverse this early.
Wavered's next song is going to sound like The Plot in You.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be like Die For You by Bring Me.
Ooh.
Why not both?
You didn't say it. I was thinking that, and as you said, I was like, damn it.
Yeah, there's going to be 2 more singles. It's going to sound like those. It's going to be Feel Nothing and Die For You.
Derek, you want to take us into this next one?
Yeah, sure. I've got another little small band here. Honey Revenge have put out their debut single, Miss Me.
Stop saying that you miss me. It's not making plans if you don't go through with it. Your words are empty. What you say, you don't really mean.
I could be wrong here. I believe that they had music out before, maybe under a different moniker with different members, and that is no longer on streaming services. Or they had it out on maybe a Bandcamp before, and this is like their first official quote unquote big release. Small little band from California. I believe they're named after the Dance Gavin Dance song Honey Revenge. I'm not entirely positive. Just kind of I guess alt pop rock type of thing.
Yeah.
Very similar to bands like the Sonderbombs, Guilt, self-titled era. Paramore was another. At the risk of female-fronted band sounds like Paramore. I got a lot of Paramore self-titled vibes from the just overall energy of this song. I believe there's an upcoming EP. Nothing's been announced. That was the impression that I got from following the band on Twitter. I could be entirely wrong. There's nothing in there about me on Spotify that gave me that impression, but now it's just fun, not necessarily bouncy, but almost kind of quirky, maybe mid-late 2000s rock, pop punk type. Thinking more in terms of, I guess maybe like some of the material from Avril Lavigne type of thing, where it's, the chorus is, miss me with the bullshit. Just kind of a, fuck you, fuck off, that sort of thing, where it's, I'm gonna do me type energy. And same way we were talking about with I Miss 2003 with As It Is, where it harkens back to that sort of same vibe that we enjoy. That's what this was for me, as somebody who grew up listening to a lot of music like that, that this brought me back in a way that I wasn't expecting. And again, like we talked about with the two previous bands, this is a band who's very, I guess, early on in their official releases, and I am more than happy to see where they go in the future. There's
I'm
a ton
also
of
very
potential here.
interested to see where this band goes because I don't love this song, but I hear the potential in it for sure. And I think if they do end up releasing a full EP, I definitely think with 5 songs, I'll definitely be convinced by at least 1 or 2 of them. It's yeah, just there's some potential here, and I need to hear more from them.
I'm always happy to get smaller bands like this and Wayward, where we can catch them like early on in their career and see how they progress. Like it's always something. I guess we have that with Sora Kai too, right?
Yeah.
And a couple other bands where I don't know. It's just nice to see it, especially when I enjoy the music as much as I do. But
there's a small band, not to get too off topic, but there's a small band that I discovered in late 2019 called Pine Hill, which is a similar case to I think Wayward and Honey Revenge. Super small band that they've only released 2 songs, and I think both of them are fantastic. We haven't talked about them on the podcast yet, but yeah, just a very similar band that I'm interested to see where they grow.
Conquer Divide have put out a cover of Ed Sheeran's Bad Habits.
This will be the last, but it probably won't. I got nothing left to lose or use or do my bad habits seem to white eyes stare into space. And I know
Now, we don't typically talk about covers on the podcast.
No, we didn't.
But when we do,
because Conquer Divide.
but when we do,
Holy fuck me, this is good.
can Conquer Divide miss?
No, I want to say that this is my favorite single of the month. If I can count the cover as a favorite single of the month, this is my favorite single of the month.
You could say it's your favorite song of the month.
Well, hold on. No, that's also not true.
Oh, okay. I know what's going on here.
That's also not true. But no, I don't know if it's because I already enjoyed the Ed Sheeran version a lot and knew the lyrics, so I could automatically sing along when this dropped. The first listen to this, for whatever reason, I was like, it's good. The Ed Sheeran version is better. And then the second listen of this, the heavens opened up, and the angelic choir came down in the form of the ooze in the post-chorus, and I just kind of like ascended. I love this so much. The taking that bridge part towards the end of the song and turning it into a filthy breakdown is such a fantastic choice. Having the uncleans serve as backing vocals and the rest of the song, just so you know that they're there, so the breakdown doesn't feel out of place. It's just the heavenly cleans that we've come to expect from this band. Oh my goodness. Don't think Conquer Divide can do any wrong. This could be I'm gonna put this out there. This could be on the album, and I wouldn't be mad. I normally don't like when covers end up on an
The
album.
artwork seems to.
Yeah, it's got the same vibe. I'm wondering, could
Is it
this
gonna
be
be
like
like
a
a-
Exile on Loveless situation?
Yeah, I was about
you
to
know?
say that.
Bonus track. I don't know if I would like this as a closer as much as I did with Exile, but yeah, no, just throw this on in the middle. I would be so beyond happy.
I'm not a fan of when bands do that though. Like I'm thinking of
Me
Mice
neither.
and Money cover.
No, I don't like it either. I think that to me is a testament to how much I like
Conquer
this
Divide
fucking
is the
cover.
exception, not the
They're the
rule.
exception to the rule. I am so
Conquer Divide the
enamored.
album in half with this with this cover.
I am enamored with this track. I can't get enough of it. It's I haven't looked at the stats for the month. It's probably up there in my top 3 most played.
This song just makes me want more original material from them really fucking badly. Because we got a cover and we got the re-release of Messy with Kellen Quinn over the summer. Give us some more new original shit, please. I need it in my bloodstream.
I believe that everything is done, or at least they're done recording it, so hopefully. In anticipation,
It can't come soon enough.
Well,
It
they're
cannot come soon
touring
enough.
with Attack and Until I Wake. And that tour is going in March. So there's probably going to be at least 1 or 2 new songs, hopefully, fingers crossed, before then.
Ooh.
I don't know how well that time would coincide if they drop the album and Until I Wake drop the album, and then it's like Attack, Until I Wake, and Conquer Divide are all touring on new albums together. But if they are, I need to buy that. Actually, either way, I need to buy that ticket.
Yeah, you really do, given how much you love Until I Wake and Conquer Divide. Like, even if Attack weren't like as
Attack could
like,
play Dear
iconic.
Wendy 10 times, and then like Kawaii Cowboys in between each one, and I would go. Like,
Oh, you get to see Stickly.
that would be intriguing. Actually, yeah,
Dude.
fuck it, I'm gonna go buy the
They'd
ticket.
play it. There's no
Yeah,
way they would.
Derek, you gotta hop on that shit. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
while I'm
surprised you
doing
already
that-
haven't.
Well, money. Until then, while I'm in the middle of buying this ticket, Justin,
Mid podcast.
tell us about the next song.
Yeah, so a track that's not going to be featured on the album.
What?
Yeah.
Fuck
Derek
off.
in shambles.
Wolves at the Gate, Lowboard. This is a
How did I know
Christmas
that?
single. Was that in reference to the single or the tickets sold out?
No, the single. Why is this not on the album?
So
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna get my opinion. So you do the first 2.5 minutes of the song. Oh, it's a Wolves at the Gate song. Then it's like, holy shit, this is like the best Wolves at the Gate song.
yeah. I'm actually really surprised you guys like it. I didn't
This is
think
my
you guys
favorite
would.
Wolves on the Gate single or song
yeah.
ever. So why is it not on the album? I still haven't gotten an answer.
Dude, I put it in my Christmas playlist.
Just add it to the album like you did the heavier.
But where do you add this to the album, though?
Yes.
Why isn't it? Nobody's telling me. Why isn't it on the album?
They said
Because it's a Christmas song.
Yeah, it's a Christmas song.
We have broken Derek.
No.
I'm ready to break Derek even more because I don't know. I was kind of feeling a little bit sweeper about this song. I wasn't really feeling this one.
Guys, my
Oh, this
day
is-
is ruined. The tickets are sold out for the Attack show. I'm 0 for 2 tonight. Get
Oh
me out.
no!
You need to find someone that's reselling a ticket for that show.
He's gonna.
Man. Oh, it's all falling apart.
Oh man!
This is why you needed to jump on this like weeks ago.
I bought a car. Leave
No,
me
but-
alone.
This song is Yeah, the back half of this song is nuts.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it so much.
I love the chorus too. Like, I think I mentioned this before, but everyone in this band is like extremely talented vocal wise because I think like every single one of them can do cleans and uncleans, which is surprising for a band. But of course, it's the uncleans and cleans vocalists that mainly do them. And man, I love when they properly give each other like room to breathe and like can do their own shit and then still kind of work together. That's when this band blossoms, I believe. Um, I still think that quite a bit of Captors, their 2016 album, no, 2012 album, has some pretty good stuff in it comparable to this. But man, I'm glad that this is coming out, but I'm also not glad because, like Derek, I wish this was on the album.
It's even more confusing because
Wait.
this is basically the same album art as the last single.
Yeah, I was just about to say that because I just saw it. Yeah, it's interesting. Huh.
It's like you copy you copy the single art from one of the songs for the album. You put it on this and don't put it on the album. Like I'm almost mad for you guys now.
Honestly, like just release a Christmas bonus edition.
What's probably gonna happen is they're probably gonna release a deluxe album in like 2023 with this on it.
All right, I'm looking up the tweet. Where is it? Well, I need to see this. I need to see if you guys are right.
I looked at the track list. Yeah, it's not on there.
Cowards, the lot of them. Unbelievable.
Hmm.
Sure enough, it's not
It
on there.
doesn't- It does not
Nah.
say on their Twitter. Oh, it says new Christmas single.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
it is what it is.
Sad Derek noises.
I
Yeah.
am glad to hear that you guys are vibing with a Wolves at the Gate song though.
It's been a while, but finally. It's okay. I'll sit here and commiserate over it not being on the album. just
It's a
to
bad
relive my
day for
buddies.
Derek.
It's been a really rough.
That
5
was
minutes.
a really quick 10
That was
minutes.
Yeah.
like a low blow, a very
We were talking-
unfortunate
he was
1-2
like-
punch.
It was low.
He was like so high
lowborn.
on like all these bands, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden,
we hit like a 4-song string where it was my ads for the month. I was vibing. I love them all. Gonna go see Until I Wake and Conquer Divide, and no, it all came crashing down.
He went from
Wait.
cloud 9 down into nothing.
oh,
I was
rock
wondering how
bottom.
you were
I was
gonna
gonna say he's lowborn.
put that in.
Oh, Everest have dropped a new single
Hell.
called Into Nothing.
Justin, I know you've been into this band for a while.
Yeah.
You were the one that introduced me to them last year. And I forget what song it was, but there was some song, one of the first songs that you introduced is still my favorite song of theirs. And ever since then, I have not really clicked with them to the same level. And it is upsetting because there is a lot of potential here. But something is missing and I don't know what it is.
I was expecting a butt there.
No, no, but it just something is missing, and I don't know what it is. And I'm
I feel like
sad.
the vocal delivery, I think, is what's missing on here. I think the vocal delivery just doesn't have enough emotion to it to play off the instrumentals. The instrumentals in this are great. Like the perfect kind of atmospheric sound that I liked off of Gravity. And
That might be the one. That rings a bell.
yeah,
think it might
Gravity's
be
definitely the one because it was in my top 5 last year. This is really good sounding instrumental wise. I feel like they need to kind of not really relax, but kind of let off the brakes on the vocal delivery. I feel like if they combine the vocals and how they did in what was it? Unconsciously Numb was the last single.
Uncomfortably numb.
Uncomfortably Numb. There we go. I feel like if they kind of fuse the vocal delivery from that with the instrumentals of this, I feel like you get a better song or a more replayable song. This song is still good, but it's kind of hard to put it on repeat.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. It's a song that I've had in my playlist, but haven't really spent too much time going back to, just because there isn't that moment that really captures me, unfortunately.
Fully understandable.
I'm kind of ready to move on to the next one if you are, because I don't feel like there's a lot to say about this one. Silverstein have a brand new song entitled "It's Over."
It's over. Death is creeping in, and it's never been closer.
Is it over?
Podcast.
It's the end of the
shows,
podcast, guys.
Oh, not yet.
Not yet. We still got end of year awards episodes to do.
I think Derek's tapped out though.
Derek will get back here eventually.
He'll be fine.
I'm interested what you guys have to think on this song first.
It's okay.
Bankrupt is a lot better, like a lot.
Because, okay, that kind of confirms what I thought, but I am really high on this song. This is up there as one of my favorite singles of the month.
I think the chorus is good. Like, I like the lyricism. On it, but honestly, other than that, it's not really doing it for me.
I'm gonna agree with both of those, except it is really doing it for me. I think the lyricism is great, and I think the chorus is fantastic. I love how the chorus, they kind of segment it a little bit, where they have like the synth that matches the melody of the upcoming verse that's going to be said. I thought that was a really neat touch. And then even the lyrics in the chorus itself: cue the curtain call, roll the credits, it's over. Death is creeping in, and it's never been closer.
Wait, mention the violin part.
I didn't write that part down.
Oh, I'll read it then. All the violins won't make us sink slower. There, they added violin, so I like it. I'm a simple man.
There's not true. That is kind of a gimmick at this point. Just violins.
Oh, I've abused it for like 3 years at this point.
Hey, it's your fault. You were the awakener. You gave me Imminence.
And I don't regret it.
That's good.
Yeah, I think it's just a really solid Silverstein song. Probably either my second or third favorite, based off of the fact that my only experience with this band is that album they dropped last year. And I think this is better than Bankrupt. Clicked with me on first listen instantly, and I've had this on repeat for quite a while.
Derek, what'd you think of Silverstein?
It's all right. I've come to understand with this band that it's probably going to be like for every 5 songs they drop, I like one type of situation. And with that one, it got exhausted and bankrupt. So I don't think I actively dislike any one given Silverstein song. I mean, I think this is good. I don't love it enough to save it. There's not enough here pulling me in.
That's what I'm kind of...
It sounds very similar to Bankrupt in terms of the vibe for me, just overall. But it's not executed as well, I think. So I'm just kind of like, I'd rather listen to Bankrupt. There's nothing here that's really pulling me in.
I think we're good to move on then.
Would you say it's over?
It's over.
I think that discussion is over. It is over. It's over.
All right. Just checking.
Moving on, we got Varsity, who were supposed to drop their album this month, but had to delay it to next year. But they still gave us a new song anyway, entitled Soul.
They really just be ruining my top 10.
Yeah, your top 10 in shambles after this one being delayed.
Yeah.
Honestly, mine too. Because
Justin's
this
gonna
album,
do a top 9.
This album had very real potential to reach my top 10 albums of this year, and with it being delayed, I'm having flashbacks to what happened with that Anna's Okay album being delayed from December to January of this year. And I feel like the same tragedy could happen again, where Varsity were on track to release a top 10 album.
Tragedy.
Yeah, they were on track to release a top 10 album of 2021, and then it gets delayed to 2022, and then isn't a top 10 album of 2022. I can see the writing is like on the wall in front of me right now. I can see it happening. All that to say, I have one sentence. My very
Yeehaw.
first my very first reaction to this song, this is a copy paste from our Discord. The night this song dropped. This feels like if a post-hardcore song was the trailer music to a Western drama film.
Yeah.
Varsity just said, "Fuck it."
They really don't care about. They're like a fucking.
You know, hold on. You know how Stand Atlantic earlier said,
There we go,
"Fuck
that's the
fuck the
fan.
pop, keep the punk." Varsity just said, "Fuck it all, fuck genres."
They really blended fucking Western sounds with post-hardcore, and then a little bit of heavy into it. And
But tell me that
like,
Joey Tyler can't pull it off though, because he absolutely fucking did.
and gave me my top single of this year, of not year but month.
Oh, I was about to say, what the fuck? How did we get here?
Nah, this month, definitely.
I wish I was as high on it.
Oh,
I'm
you're
not.
not?
No, I think that you guys encapsulated in describing why you enjoy it, described why I don't. And it feels like at times the song is having a bit of an identity crisis.
It definitely
like-
is, but it's a fun identity crisis.
There's a lot going on here to the point where I'm not invested.
That's a really good quote.
You know, fair enough. I don't even think I can argue against that. There's nothing.
You're
to
not
be
allowed
said.
to.
No, I mean, I can't, but no, I don't know. I everything here is great. I just want it to be all into one package that I feel is cohesive, so that I can really truly latch onto it. Especially because I love the vocals so much, and it just kind of felt a little too all over the place for me to be able to latch onto that cohesive package like I wanted. But I'm still intrigued for this album. This is a band where it's like I want to love them, and I'm hoping that the album will make me do that.
And here's the thing as well. After this release, I don't fucking know what this album's gonna sound like, and I'm
yeah.
excited
Oh
for
yeah. You had Sick drop as the first single, which was like kind of more typical of what I expected from Varsity at this point, and then you get Finesse, which had the rap feature to throw that wrench in. Then you just decide to make a post-hardcore Western drama theme, just for the fuck of it. And I don't know. Varsity are doing what Varsity want to do.
They do it well.
That is true. Before we move on, I just want to mention the guitar riff, where he's saying soul and then it like goes crazy on the guitar. Fucking love that part. That was a
That's
really
so good.
bad description of the moment I'm talking about, but I hope you get it.
Yeah.
Nah, I love that tone shift too. It's really
Yeah.
good.
Another new band for the podcast coming up, Fixation, have dropped a brand new song called Stay Awake. This band dropped their debut EP last year. I thought it was okay, had some potential, decided to follow them on Spotify, got this song to release in my release radar, and I was like, I wonder if Justin would like this song.
Yoink.
Yep.
Quickest add to the playlist ever.
Yep.
It's really good.
Yeah, this is my favorite song of theirs. A lot of that EP last year felt like it blended in with every song. It was a very small 4-song EP, and
I'll
none of
agree with
them
that.
really stood out. I don't know if it's just the fact that this releases as a single that it's standing out, or if it's just a better song, or it's both. But either way, I still really enjoy the song. I haven't spent a lot of time with it, but I really enjoyed this.
Don't tell me neither of you two got into it.
Sad
This wasn't
Justin
my jam.
noises.
Yeah, sorry.
What?
Sad
Nah.
Justin noises.
It's not that I didn't not like it. I just didn't like it. It was just there. It was incredibly average.
That's
It
how
went
I
in, it
felt
went
about
out.
the EP last year. So
You know what?
Yeah?
I got you to like
Yeah?
a what was it, the Gate song? I'm okay with this.
That's not where I thought that was. I didn't think we were hitting compromise. I thought you were about to like call back to, like 7 songs. I'd be like, you know what, that song you liked? Fuck that song.
No. No, I'm all for
No.
compromise here.
Justin will take
No.
as many compromises as he can get with the amount of.
We're the Hivemind. We
yeah.
have to all think the same.
No, that's bullshit. Since when?
That's how
It's right
Hivemind's
now.
work.
It's right now. Justin, how'd you feel about the Like Moths To Flames EP?
Fuck that.
You loved it, right? Oh, what happened to
Ooh.
cohesion?
That's a burn.
Boy, what?
I thought you wanted compromise, not me murdering like Moths to
No,
Flame.
you need to wait. How did we
We're
get?
s-
Oh,
I think we
you mean
skipped
like
a
with your
few.
opinion?
Yeah,
I thought you meant
uh,
like we hit the point where he's showing up to their houses and like breaking down the door. Just vicious. I'm like, what the?
Wait, Derek, this is a good time to tell Justin
What?
and Jake about our idea.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Okay.
god.
How did we get to
How
this?
did we get here?
You ever wonder how the fuck you got here?
Hivemind
Oh,
not in effect right now. I'll tell you that much.
No.
On it.
Hivemind is out the
See-
window.
It's fine, right? So,
hit me
on
with
my on,
You
on
said
my,
door and it reminded me, okay?
Why the fuck a door?
no.
You'll see, you'll
Just
see.
wait. We gotta pitch.
I just gotta hear this.
So on my Instagram story, right? I've been posting music maybe every day, every other day, with just some random moves from my camera roll. And I posted one that had the chorus from "Dear Wendy" by Attack Attack on it. And Jacob swiped up and just said, "Hello, Derek." And I responded with "Hello, my Canadian king," and I told him that I had to give people a taste of Attack Attack. And he said that I was spreading the gospel, and that the plan is to dress as like Jehovah's Witnesses and advertise the Hivemind podcast,
Oh
right?
my
So it's
Christ.
like, do you have a moment to hear about our Lord and Savior Dylan? You know, like the fucking guy.
No way.
And we've got the Spotify stickers that you see on polls, and we just hand them out and like just look at them really intently until they scan it with their phone.
Halloween 2022, we're making this happen.
That's what I'm saying. They're like, "What are you, podcasters?" We hand them the sticker, and we all just like open our eyes really wide and stare at them, and like hold the sticker out. And they're like, "What? What are you doing?" Scan. Like, it shows up on their phone. They're terrified and just step closer. Listen.
and you open the link and it's just Derek having a stroke.
Yeah.
Just
Also,
okay,
like
Podcast
9 out of
audio.
10 of
just
our
just
podcast.
one stroke, just one.
It's the Derek stroke compilation. Oh God. So what do you?
Anyway,
Where are we? What
Uh,
song are we on?
this fixation song was pretty alright.
Jesus Christ.
So what do you guys think of our idea?
As I said, Halloween 2022, I think we make it happen.
Perfect. That's democracy. Justin, you're on
Oh.
board.
By association, I have to.
Perfect.
Let's move on after that.
Christ.
we leave that one in the past. Another new band for the podcast. We have Cyan Kicks with their brand new song Invincible.
My soul, I'm in control. Sing along with song, we're invisible. Sing along.
Holy shit, I'm lightheaded after that. Give me a moment.
Ooh, I have to recover.
I also need to recover.
I think I'm mostly fixed. So let me fuck.
Christ.
Okay. Okay. This. Fuck it, Jake. Take it. I can't do it.
I'm not ready for this either.
I think Justin needs to take it.
Having
He's the
heart
only one not.
palpitations.
Oh. Okay. Hold on.
All right, everybody.
Recovery. Sip of water.
Everybody, take a deep breath.
Okay. I really like the new Cyan Kicks song.
I
Thank
also
you, Jake.
really like the new Cyan Kicks song. We have not talked about this band on the podcast yet because I discovered them 2 months ago, and I have been fucking obsessed with this band for the past 2 months. They dropped an EP earlier this year. Listened to it in early October, and behind that Wage War album from last month, probably my favorite thing that I heard the entirety of last month. And then when I'm craving more Cyan Kicks material, within like 2 months of discovering them, here they are to give me a brand new single. I hear this for the first time and I'm like, this is like a solid average Cyan Kicks song. And even an average Cyan Kicks song at this point for me is something that I'll have on repeat an entire weekend. I am obsessed with this band. I need more of them. And I'm just very happy that they decided to drop a new single so quickly after I discovered them. Because even though generally it takes me like 2 fucking years to listen to previous albums of bands that I get into, I listened to that EP in early October and I was listening to singles from their debut album 3 weeks later because I literally could not get enough of them. So,
Is this off of anything? Do we know?
Supposedly this is probably going to be off of an album next year. You know, they've been teasing for the past month or so since I've been into them. They've been in the studio. They've been working on stuff. So here's hoping for an album 2022. Because if so, it's going to be one of my most anticipated albums of next year. I am stoked on having gotten into this band and discovering them.
Yo, they're another band from Finland.
That's another point I was going to make. I forgot to mention.
Really?
Yeah, they are coming for Blind Channel's throne. Sorry, Justin.
Oof.
I'd say they've taken it, but
Oof.
that's just me.
They can share.
If I hadn't heard
No.
3 albums from Blind Channel compared to 1 EP of Cyan Kicks, I would maybe be with you, Derek. But even with how enamored I am with them, I do think I need to hear more before I can definitively give them the crown of Finland.
I think
Can't
this
just give
one
them the crown
single...
of Finland.
Sure
That's
you
not how
can, why
Finland
not?
works.
Hey, I'm gonna
The musical
I
crown of Finland.
I could say something, but I won't.
No, say it.
Wait,
This
what have
one
you ever
single
held
is
back?
better than Blind Channel's entire discography.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn, he went for a low blow
Oof.
there.
Oh no, he stated his opinion. Whatever will he do?
God.
Put behind a paywall.
Before we move on from this song, I got one lyric from this song that really stood out to me. At the
Tell me
bridge,
so that I know.
at the bridge, which is my favorite part of the entire song. It's I was hoping it was one of the verses because it was the bit that they teased the day before it came out, where it says, "We're the only ones with the power to take a stand and make our life ours." The instrumentation behind those 2 lines as well is just fantastic, making it my favorite part of the song. So, yeah, as I've said already, I'm extremely excited for more material from this band.
Means we got one more single.
Feels crazy. We're at single number 23 for this episode. And that's it. This is like the least amount of singles we've had to talk about the entire fucking year.
Amazing.
Just like,
I like
the quality of this Led by Lantern song called Good Enough, featuring, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry.
Mercedes. I'm not pronouncing the last part. Someone
Yeah,
else.
that's
can
why
do
I
it.
didn't.
Arnhorn.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's-
So I've got an
It's
aunt. and she
Mercedes
calls it-
Mercedes M. Hom. She's of a Canadian band called Courage My Day.
And I know we'll change. But then even if it stay the same.
Are you
I've got
sure
an
about
aunt,
that?
Her name's Mercy.
I'm 100% certain.
Bro,
Looked
because
up
I
her
swear,
name.
I looked up what band she was from, and she was from a band called Soft Cult, not Courage My Love.
Courage My. All right, no. If you look up her name, she's in a Canadian rock band. Courage My Love.
I am taking to Instagram to figure this one out.
I took to Google.
Ooh.
I'm fighting
I'm
yours with
probably
mine.
wrong.
Dude, apparently she's in some movies.
The fuck?
Yeah.
I didn't read that. Oh, she's in both. We're not wrong. We're
Oh,
just
she's in both. Wow.
we're not wrong. We're just idiots.
Point being, why I've spent so much time kind of trying to figure this out is because when I heard this song, I wasn't super convinced, but then I went to check out her band Soft Cult just to get a sound, because I really liked her verse and her contribution as a feature to this Wed by Lantern song. And I listened to some songs from Soft Cult, and suddenly the feature makes so much more sense. Soft Cult is like some really like, I almost want to say it's if Movements had a female vocalist, which is probably a bit of an extreme jump for how much I know you adore Movements, Derek.
I can vaguely see it. I don't know if I'll give it to you. I'll give you 50% of that.
Okay.
take.
But just super like melancholic post-hardcore in a way, and that's the exact vibe that she brings to this Led by Lantern song. So I think it's a fantastic feature. Really smart from Led by Lanterns to get her on this song in particular. And I'm just really excited for more material from them. They teased at the beginning of this year they had their debut album coming. They dropped 2 songs and then went quiet for like 7-8 months. I was reaching a point where I'm like, they dropped a song and it's showing up as an album on Spotify. Is like, did they release the album and I just missed it or something? But no, they dropped this song. It turns out the album is coming out January of next year. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Can we also talk about like instrumentally how Led by Lanterns is just incredible?
Oh yeah, this band is one of my favorite hidden gems for a reason. There's so much talent packed into this band from the instrumentation and vocally.
I also really like the like little like kind of unclean that he does toward the end of the song, and then it ramps up just instrumentally. That was a really good part.
Yeah, this is, I guess, I would probably say, at least from the ones I've heard, my favorite Led by Lantern song.
Oh yeah.
Not that I love it, but it's the best that I've heard, and I'll take it. I really love the vocal dynamic between the two. Well, boys, does that bring us to our EPs?
Sure does.
Or our new EP? Like we went to
Yeah,
Hivemind EP dropping.
We're putting one out.
Oh God, guys! Like Moths to Flames have dropped their brand new EP, Pure Like Porcelain.
Wait, you're telling me they dropped a full EP? I thought they just dropped a single called Ameliorate.
Wow, what a terrible take. God.
Christ.
I think that's a perfect representation on our 2 thoughts on this EP.
It's all right, Jake. I'm with you on this.
Wait, Justin, what do you think of this Like Moths To Flames EP?
Give us
There you
your deepest thoughts on how you truly feel about
I didn't listen to it.
Oh. Well, that's less exciting than you telling me you didn't like it.
Oh, I didn't like it.
Oh, thank you.
Damn, dude. Yo, Derek.
Yeah.
This band, I would prefer their Dark Divine days, but they fixed the mix since last album, and I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah. This, I don't know if it's like a drastic change in the mixing, but it's enough that the vocals don't feel super drowned out anymore.
Yeah.
And I am living for it. Honestly, if that album from last year had this mix, it probably would have been a top 5 album of the year for me. So, like Moths to Flames, moving forward, give me more of this. AOTY. Like Moths to Flames is just kind of like perpetually pissed off. I feel like the first line on
Did you
this
see
EP,
that UNFD tweeted that video from SOTS?
What?
I'll put it in the chat. You'll see.
Let me see. I may have. I don't think I think if you show it to me, I'll probably know what it is. But no,
Go ahead with what you were saying.
they're just so mad. I mean, the first line on this EP is "When the fuck will it end?" Like, as far as I can tell, that's the theme of this EP is like dealing with just not even depression, anxiety, whatever, just mental afflictions in general, and some of the stigma, I believe, from other people and from religion that comes along with that. I pulling more than just the first line. I want to pull out couple more lyrics.
I have a
verse.
lyric from Ameliorate
Oh,
that I
go
want to
ahead.
go over.
No, go ahead. Go
with,
ahead.
with Ameliorate being my favorite song on the EP by quite a long shot, I noticed that there was a lot of similarities between Ameliorate and my favorite song from No Eternity in Gold, A Servant of Plague. Particularly with the lead into one of the breakdowns sounding like oddly similar to each other, which I don't know if you guys would pick up on, because I feel A Servant of Plague probably isn't the most memorable song from that album for you guys, if I had to assume. But both songs, like literally even like the consonants, it's unrecognizable versus A Servant of Plague. Like vocal delivery wise, those two lines sound pretty similar. And then you get an ever-flowing river of hate runs through my veins and I can't let go. Versus in A Servant of Plague, such a long fucking fall from grace, never finding your way. I don't know, like if you listen to the two next to each other, it might just be me, but they sound really similar to one another.
Huh.
And given that it's my favorite Like Moths to Flames song, hearing something very similar to it was I had a very enjoyable listen when I was listening to the EP for the first time, and I've gone back to Ameliorate more than any other song on this album by quite a while.
Gnashing teeth. Quote, "The sound of gnashing my teeth on the cross echoes endlessly. Separate the soul from the heart. The sacrifice of the lamb to the dark. Nothing is permanent. Corroded innocence. Manufacturing the will to exist." End quote. Followed by "Pitch black where I've been feeding pain. Bent back as the spine disconnects from my brain."
I
Yeah.
got
Brutal.
some imagery in my head.
This shit is mad in terms of like mad as in like insane instrumentation and lyricism, and it's mad as in like Moths to Flames is just pissed. I mean, it's just angry music, I feel like, but sometimes that's what I'm in the mood for, and I think if I'm particularly in the mood for that, that's when I'm going to be visiting A Views from Halfway Down and The Preservation of Hate. My three favorite songs off here were Ameliorate, Gnashing Teeth, and Do Not Resuscitate. My favorite lyric off the whole EP, bar none, is before the final breakdown of the EP on Do Not Resuscitate, and it's, "If the good die young, does that mean I wasn't good enough?" Which is arguably my favorite lyricism I've heard all year.
I'm
Two
surprised that
simple
I never
lines.
picked up on that, because Do Not Resuscitate is the one other song that I added to my playlist and spent a decent amount of time with. Not to the same level as Ameliorate, but I did enjoy that song. I'm just surprised that lyric didn't stick out to me, because damn, that is powerful.
Yeah, I mean, it's just this. Every artist I feel like that I really enjoy now has that one song or one release where I click with them, and it feels like I fully click with them, even if I don't like the older material as much. Like there's a definitive release where I'm like, okay, I can say I'm a fan of this band. And Basilisk, as the B-side from No Eternity in Gold, set the precursor for this EP dropping. I love this. I mean, I just, Like Moths to Flames, have shot up in my overall impression of them. I mean, just every bit of it. Lyricism, instrumentation, vocal delivery, even now that, like we mentioned before, the mixings, maybe the vocals are just either the instrumentation's a little bit quieter, or the vocals are a little bit louder, but they sound less muddled, and the band is so much better off for it. Yeah, I love everything about this EP. I've spent a lot of time with it. I guess between EPs and albums, this is probably my favorite release, if not my second favorite.
Alright.
The
Yeah,
month?
yeah, 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 not overall, but just of the month. I didn't think I would ever like any Like Moths release as much as I do this, and this just floored me. Jacob, any thoughts? Or other thoughts, I should say?
Not not really. Like I only listened to it once, and other than the mix improving, I didn't really find anything that caused me to save any of the songs. So
Damn. Well, it's okay, guys. I'll take on the burden of being the Like Moths to Flames apologist from here on out. Is what we'll call it.
I think before we move on, I'm gonna just say that I'm gonna put like Moth to Flames and Make Them Suffer in the same group of metalcore bands that I don't like 80% of the time, but when they hit the 20% of the time, they really fucking hit the 20% of the time.
You know what? I'll take it, and I could see that. I almost want to put it's less drastic, but I think I'll agree with you and put them in the same boat. Mine's more like a well, I guess with my basis being Dark Divine and the other No Eternity and Gold, it's more like a 60-40 split, but yeah, same with me. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Let's move on then. We have two debut EPs coming up. We got Memorist with their EP Oni Kijo. We have talked about the three songs on this EP not named Oni nor Kijo, which are the opener and closer for this album. And I want to start by talking about Oni because it's the opener, and holy fuck. Memorist can make metalcore, and they can make some really fucking good metalcore.
it is my favorite song on the CP.
My second favorite, personally. The Empiric's still my favorite, but Oni blew me away the first time I heard it. I was just shocked at like the vocal range he was able to pull off on the song. It's insane. Like contrasting like his super deep vocals in the verses, not even screams, just like he's almost like talking just in a really deep voice, compared to his screams, and then in the chorus, the super high note that he hits in the second half of the chorus is just extremely versatile in that one song alone, and it almost sets you up for what you're going to hear throughout the rest of the EP, to a lesser extent. With each song, Oni feels like a conglomeration of the other four songs all in one, and then the other four songs all explore like individual elements of it. Where I'd say like Slither is like kind of the more slower ballad-esque song, and then you get Kijo, which is like the super atmospheric closer. You get the Empiric, which is more energetic, and then you get Second Sequence, which I don't know. I haven't spent too much time with Second Sequence, so I don't know how to describe it. But pretend there's a fourth attribute that I can list to it there, and my analogy makes sense. Yeah, I'm really happy with this EP. Even just getting Oni and the Empiric alone makes it probably up there as one of my favorite EPs I've heard all year. With how highly I rate both of those songs, and I think Kijo is a solid closer as well. Not like outstanding by any means, but a solid closer that I probably need to spend more time with.
I want to like this more than I do. And it makes me sad because I feel like this band had something very strong going for it, especially with love and loss, and even frustration to an extent, where they felt like they were able to kind of tug on my heartstrings with the lyricism and the delivery. And I feel like that was the part of Memorist that I enjoyed the most and that set them apart. And for the most part, I didn't get anything that gave me that same sensation. Bar on Kijo with that chorus where he drags out the "Are you lonely?" Which was my favorite moment on this whole EP. There's a lot of atmosphere to be had across the whole album, especially in the middle three tracks. And I feel like at times that atmosphere becomes almost overbearing in the sense that it causes some of the tracks to sort of blend together. At least for me.
That's how I feel about Slither and Second Sequence.
Well, we'll see. And those are the two I have saved, actually. Off the EP, I think the Empiric is probably the weakest track on here for me.
Sad.
Unfortunately, because I know that you're especially higher on it than I am.
Yeah, no big deal. Just probably like a top 10 breakdown of the year for me on that song.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I think that there are a lot of individual moments on here to love. I guess I just had a different impression prior to this whole EP cycle of the direction that I personally wanted Memorist to take. And so now that I've got an EP that is different from those expectations that I'd kind of set for them, I feel like I'm less high on it, but it's more my fault than any fault with the music. You know, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
Like, I subverted my own expectations with it, and I want to... I have a strong feeling that this is going to be one of those EPs where I don't listen to it for maybe a good 4 or 5 months, and then when I do my yearly revisit of some stuff from last year that I had, kind of put to the side, or I wanted to give it a second chance, I think that as time goes on, this is going to be something that I come to appreciate a lot more than just the individual elements, and I'll appreciate the songs as a whole. I listened to Love and Loss too much, I think. So my
Fair.
what I anticipated changed a little bit too much, but Memorist, with their debut EP, at least for me, even if it wasn't quite what I wanted, have established themselves as excellent musicians who, before the CP, I wanted to keep my eye on what they're doing in the future. With the CP, I still want to do the same.
Absolutely. Justin, you had any thoughts on this one?
Derek pretty much encapsulated everything I was going to say.
Fair enough. I think that takes us to our last EP for the month then. We've only had a short few days with this one, but Dead Eyes have just dropped their brand new EP called Stability. And I'm pretty sure you guys probably all listened to this for the first time earlier today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
I did not get a chance, unfortunately.
Fair enough. Yeah, this is kind of something that I threw in last minute. They released Breaking the Current earlier this year, and I was really interested to see how they would follow that up. EP finally comes around, and I really enjoyed every single song on here. I think there's a lot of diversity from song to song on here. You get Stand for Something as the opener, which leans much more into metalcore. Make You Believe reminds me a lot of Hollywood Undead. Breaking the Current has a super catchy chorus. Expiration Date, just like some quality post-hardcore type stuff. And the two songs I haven't mentioned yet in The Come Down and Halo both have their moments too, just songs I haven't spent enough time with yet. Overall, this is an EP that I think I need more time to fully process how good I think it is, or the potential that I think it has with more time.
I really liked Halo. I think Halo is my favorite off this EP.
As I said, we've only had a short 2 days with this. Usually we try to wait till the first week of the following month to record these so we can get a full week with all the releases that drop at the end of the month. But we have only had a few days with this one, so I don't think I've had all the time to appreciate this to the fullest extent.
Yeah, on my first listen, Breaking the Current, The Come Down, and Expiration Date, and especially Breaking the Current, are probably my favorites, with Halo coming up fourth. This... It's my turn to use the designated podcast line that I was pleasantly surprised by this, because this was not a band that I was really familiar with, and I didn't know how to feel off the first three because I wasn't really super into Stand for Something or Make You Believe, but I feel like the last 3 songs in this EP really did a great job of selling me. I have a feeling that because of the way that I feel about those last 3, my favorite song off this EP is going to change in the coming weeks as I spend some more time with the songs in my playlist. But yeah, no, a big theme this month, I feel like, for me with EPs and singles was bands that are coming, even if it's not I guess is this their debut? Am I
Yeah, it
losing
is. They've released
Yeah, I
a
was
couple
gonna
of
say,
singles in the past, but this is like the first full EP.
a lot of debut EPs, singles, or just EPs and singles from younger bands that have really piqued my interest and made me want to be invested in everything they're doing moving forward. This is a band that has managed to kind of come out of nowhere and sell me on at least a lot of what they're trying to accomplish. And so I'm interested to see where things go in the future. With debut EPs, I always want a new album the year after, you know.
Mhm.
I don't know how feasible that is, but you know, we'll see. We'll see.
It's a good taste tester for what they could bring in the future.
If they drop an album next year and they continue to improve on the sound they've already got going here, it could be a dark horse contender top 10. We'll see.
Mm.
Yeah, I listened to Prisoner from 2019.
Yeah, I remember that was the first song I heard from them.
Yeah,
was
that's
when I
still
got
been in my
into them.
playlist, and I went back
Yep.
after listening to this, and it's still pretty good.
Well, I think that takes us to our 3 albums for the month then. And at this point, I'm going to hand the torch over to Jacob for this first album.
Silent Planet have released their new album, Iridescent.
It sure is a Silent Planet album, all right.
You stole my line, damn it. Yeah.
I
tried to
kinda
give
not,
this.
Yeah.
I tried to give this
This isn't the-
album, like, I skimmed through some of the non-singles just to see if it would maybe be worth listening to in full. The snippet of Anhedonia that we talked about last month is still the closest I've been to liking a Silent Planet song, and that's kind of all I have to say here. Just
you
not
gotta
a band
listen.
that's fully
If-
clicked with me yet.
If
So-
you like any song, sorry, Derek.
Well,
If
no, I'm
you
just
like
gonna say. Oh no!
any
Oh no! My
song-
bad. No, you go ahead. I'm
Holy
sorry.
shit.
If Jake will like any song, it'll be Till We Have Faces, I think.
That's not one that I checked out, so.
Yeah, I'd say that or Second Son or The Sound of Sleep, maybe. Anything that's got cleans in it. That's what I was gonna say. Is I don't know how much you skimmed through it, but if you were like, "Oh, the first minute 30 is just all heavy. Where's the cleans? I don't want to listen to this song anymore." You know, a lot of the clean choruses on this album kick in past where you think they would, like they're a little more delayed.
Yeah, but
But-
at the same time, do you really want to listen to 2 minutes of gutturals?
Yes, I do.
No.
Well, A, these are not gutturals. B, the shit slaps. So yes, I will listen to however long I need to.
Shall we start with Translate the Night?
Let's start with Translate the Night. Was that like by we? Did you mean that me? I'm starting with Translate the
No,
Night.
either of us. I'll go.
Go for it.
It's your own
Um,
separate hive mind, and you're fucking it up.
Yeah. So this is the intro song, and it is probably my favorite opener for a Silent Planet album, I think.
What, like 112 into Translate the Night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the breakdown. Oh my god. That's a as Jake was saying earlier, it's a top 10 breakdown.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of those on this album. Breakdowns and top 10 breakdowns. I feel like I think that Translate the Night, hearing, because I was in my car driving home from work the first time I heard this. And I, with the singles, didn't really know what I was going to be getting. I liked Anhedonia and Panopticon. Not super big on Trilogy. I'm still not. Trilogy is still my least favorite song off the album.
Sad Jacob noises.
Yeah, but so I just didn't know. And I saw that the opening track was like 1 minute 10 seconds, and I'm like, God bless. Like I know I've got enough faith in Silent Planet as a band to make this transition into Translating the Night. And it did. And then that first like sing screamy chorus kicked in and Translate the Night, and I was just like, oh fuck, here we go. Like,
Yeah.
that was the moment where I was like, fuck the singles. I think I'm gonna really like this album. And I think that, yeah, you mentioned earlier when Justin said that this was a Silent Planet album, and it's really not,
Yeah.
because it's less like experimental than the other albums, and it leans more into like the core side of metalcore,
Mm.
and it really pays dividends. I think I could not get into
It's more
any.
accessible.
Yeah, I couldn't get into any Silent Planet music before this. I listened to their previous 2 albums, I believe. Let me make sure before I tell you that I did. Yeah, so I listened to When the End Began. I've listened to Everything Was Sound, and I also listened to that, what was it, the re-release, I think it was, of The Night God Slept or whatever, that came out last year.
Yeah.
And I just did not save a single song. I couldn't do it. I have every song on this album saved except for 2. And the 2 I don't skip in the context of the album. I
Wait, what are the
appreciate
two? Well, I know one's trilogy, but what's the other
Yeah.
one?
You think you can guess?
Are we skipping
No,
interludes?
no.
We're not skipping interludes.
No.
Oh, then it's what's 112? No, wait, it's Liminal, isn't it?
No.
I don't
It's
know.
Alive as a House Fire.
Oh, really?
Yes, which
Yeah.
you know, for
So-
all the controversy that it caused, I don't like the ending bit where it's just fuck the system over and over again.
So-
Not because of the message, fuck the
Let me-
system, but like it just felt a little out of place.
Let me tell you my two songs that I didn't save. It's The Sound
I
of
think you're
Sleep
gonna hurt
and
me.
Alive as a House Fire.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'm glad that we're on the same page then. At least for Alive as a House Fire. I really like the sound.
So
of
you're
Sleep.
telling me Alive as a House Fire was not a good single to pick as one of my few to check out from this album?
I think it's a good song. It's just the ending feels a little out of place, both in terms of, I mean, like obviously like the Silent Planet. Ooh, they said the fuck word, but it felt like it kind of came out of nowhere. Like at least for
it's
me, it feels in
a
contrast
little
to the rest of the song.
purposely trying to be edgy, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they went into it thinking, oh, let's be edgy. No, like if there was ever a time for Silent Planet to say fuck, I think that that's a good place to do
Yeah.
it. I just think it could have been incorporated into the song maybe a little bit better.
Mhm.
Just across this whole album, Silent Planet really, I guess, branches out in a way. They make their music safer, and in doing so branch out. I guess would be the way to put it, you know, that they're known for being experimental, but their experimentation here is making music that's safer and more traditional. And it pays dividends. You've got, you know, clean or sing screamy architect style choruses that, outside of the one on Trilogy, which that's the part of Trilogy I don't like, is the clean
You know, we
chorus.
gotta talk about this. This is a crime.
For whatever reason, the cleans on Trilogy, I'm just not vibing with them. It's the one thing holding me back from that
So-
song.
What I think is, well, of course that song was probably recorded earlier, and it
Mhm.
seems throughout the album, I think Thomas is in a different range than he used to be in previous albums,
Mm-hmm.
and it's more if it suits him more, I feel, and I'm pretty sure that's what it could be bothering you. Because I haven't really noticed. I love Trilogy. It was like a top 5. I think it was my I think it was my 5th song of the year last year.
Something like that.
Yeah. So
I guess because I've got lyrics pulled up because it's
Yep.
Silent Planet and
Mhm.
you have to. I mean, it's Silent Planet and lyrics are kind of like that's
Mhm.
their thing, right? Do you have a song in particular that you felt the lyricism was strongest in?
Yes.
Okay, do you have one that isn't
is-
Terminal?
Yes.
Okay.
It actually like really means a lot to me. So
Okay. Do you have
I
them
want-
pulled up
so-
that you'd want to?
I can pull it up right now, but
Okay.
you go first.
Well, okay, so is it iridescent?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll let you do Iridescent then, because that you remember when earlier with the Conquer Divide cover I said that like it it was my favorite song of the month, maybe, and if not, it was number 2. Iridescent would be my number 1, if not.
Mm.
I really,
So,
really, I just as a closer, as a song in general, the emotion and everything, like, oh, beautiful.
well, sorry, I'm gonna make it really depressing. Sorry.
No, go for it. It's a
No.
depressing album.
Um. So like, end of October, my dog passed away,
Mm.
and this song happens to be about Garrett's dog,
Oh, I did not know that. I thought it was
and
about like a
I
loved one.
I was like, wow, this is like the perfect time that this release. It
Yeah.
actually is like. So I'm gonna read from the end. Uh, when the hospital dissolves and every storm reaches resolve, I'll find you there past the fog, iridescent. As the moon waved her goodbyes, I saw you in 1,000 lights. Eternity a moment, iridescent. So pull me back through the nightmare. I'd rather be fragile than forever alone. So, and then it repeats.
I really like that last line there. I'd rather be fragile than forever alone.
Yeah, it was about Garrett's dog who, I think she had like, I don't know what, I don't remember what disease, but she was like 1 years old and she passed away from this disease. And I thought it was like, I don't know, perfect timing for this song to
Yeah.
come out. Really means a lot to me. So
I think for me, I guess it's kind of it's the song Terminal, I guess, is almost in that same vein in terms of I guess overall message, but the first verse, I count the pills, you count the time. There's never enough to change my mind. Don't look back, sea of the dead. I turn to salt in a hospital bed. I'm shaking hands with stillborn clocks. I'll stare to the east until time stops. And it's just wow. Like
yeah,
Iridescent Terminal. I also want to say just in general, like So We Have Faces as well. The lyricism across this album is so strong, and I don't know if it's necessarily less conceptual than previous albums, but much like the music itself, I feel like the lyricism is still strong, but it's more digestible and less like intellectual or philosophical.
I think I remember Garrett saying this entire album is about love and loss.
Mm. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
looking at everything. I want to sing a lot of praises to this album for accomplishing so much in the span of 12 tracks and making me feel some sort of way. Like I said, I couldn't get into anything that Silent Planet did prior, and so to have an album that I can feel so connected to and into, especially just with the music. I mean, yeah, I am beyond pleasantly surprised with this album. Especially, I wouldn't have expected to like it this much based off the singles, and Silent Planet delivered an incredible metalcore album in a big way that's just so good on so many fronts.
Dude, and Mitch singing,
Yeah.
chef's kiss. Why didn't he do that earlier?
Don't know. He's doing it now. Please do it in the future. Everybody, please. all members of Silent Planet currently doing what they're doing on this album, do it more and do it soon.
Last thing I want to mention is because I don't think we did it when we talked about Anhedonia, is in the second verse, there's like 4 lines that Garrett says without like taking a breath, and it's like insane. You need to hear it. Just go listen to the
Yes.
second verse of Anhedonia.
I'll do that later.
It's
I'm gonna be
really
singing Hop Around for the
impressive.
second thing, but yeah, I mean that and the rest of the vocals across are just so impressive. There's so much vocal range on this album. It's fantastic.
Favorite song?
Favorite song, Iridescent. Iridescent for sure. If I can't pick Iridescent, probably Translate the Night or Anhedonia.
I'm with you. I'm with you there.
Perfect. Good.
Yeah.
Hivemind is in
wonder-
effect for where it
I
matters.
was gonna say Anhedonia or Translate the Night.
There we go.
So
Hivemind in
Golly,
effect where it
I
matters.
wonder
on
if
this
we'll be
album.
talking about this album at the end of the year, guys. Hmm.
no.
Who knows? Unfortunately, an album I won't be talking about at the end of the year is a new album from Volumes entitled Happier.
That's one way to start it out.
Yeah, it's
I kind of want to start on this one.
Go, Jake.
So we
Go
talked
for it.
about Bend last month, right?
Yes.
And you were like, the other singles aren't even close. It's just like Bend is just so far and away better than everything else. I avoided those songs with Bend being the only thing I heard going into this album. And I hear FBX as the opener, and I'm like, I think I can get behind this. By the time we reach Happier, the title track and the closing track, I posted a message in the Discord server where I was like, I am upset that I have only heard Bend once listening to this album.
Yeah.
And that is still where I stand. There is only one song named Bend on this album out of 11 songs, and I am upset about it.
Yeah.
In other words, Bend is still by far the best song on this album. It's not fucking close. And even the other songs that I think I like are just okay at best, in my opinion.
I'm gonna say what I said in the Discord after I listened to this album. I listened to this album, heard, and I listened to Eternal Blue twice.
I think the same guy did the mixing for the guitars on both albums.
Huh.
I'm not positive,
Actually, they sound now. Yeah,
but I
this
think
sounds
so.
And I don't want to I don't want to say that as like a knock against like, oh, Spirit Box has all the hype, so they did it good, Volumes did it bad. Just this style of metalcore is not it for me. That's really all I'm saying.
Volumes
So-
has never really clicked with me.
I can't say that they have with me either. I know what is it called? On Her Mind off, I think it was their 2017 album, was one of the first like quote unquote scene songs I heard when I was first getting into this genre. And there were a couple songs off of No Sleep that I listened to for a good while, but when I heard that Michael Barr was back in the band, as somebody who enjoys Michael Barr's solo material because his voice is fantastic, I thought this is going to be the greatest album of all time. And I think that the Spirit Box comparison is fair, not only in the guitars, but Spirit Box is able to make this, gent, groovy, metalcore style work because they have the vocal dynamic that balances the cleans and uncleans perfectly. Or at least in my opinion, perfectly. As opposed to Volumes, which I feel like they really fumbled the bag. And you have two vocalists who can do uncleans and two vocalists who can pull off fantastic cleans, as Michael Barr doing supremely fast or fantastic cleans, and those don't feel super prevalent on here. I don't get why Get Enough and Bend aren't switched, because you listen to FBX and Malevolent and there's no cleans to be found, and then you get Bend track 3 and it's only cleans with a couple like unclean backing vocals, and I heard that and it was really jarring.
Yeah, I agree with that.
To get to on first listen. And then you've got Get Enough, which I will say I didn't like as a single. Grew on me in the context of the album. The groove in that first verse is fucking undeniable. I mean, it's just bouncy. And then Lets Me Down explores the cleans a little bit more. And then you go to Man on Fire, which, it has a great message, but it has no cleans. The heavy parts on here, it feels like there's a lot of genty groove throughout this whole album. And the moments that they happen, you listen and you're vibing to it as you're listening to it. You can get with the instrumentation, but it's challenging, at least I found it was for me, to differentiate between a lot of
Yeah.
it having exited the album. So the heavy moments all kind of blend together, and I'm just kind of let down by a lot of what I'm hearing because it feels like there's wasted potential.
Yep.
I mean, this,
There's
to
wasted
me,
potential in the fact that there's only one bend on this album,
yes.
and there should be 10 more.
when I see the lineup of Michael Barr and I believe it's Mike Swank, that to me
Mike and
feels
Mike.
like, yeah, it's got the Mike and Mike. I know that part of the reason that Issues kicked out Michael Bond in, I think it was like 2018, was because he didn't want to put in the vocal practice to be able to do both cleans and uncleans. Whereas Tyler Carter was kind of exploring the idea of doing harsh vocals. In a perfect world, Volumes has the existing potential to be the best form of what Issues could have been. And instead, they've leaned into the uncleans, personally for me, too much, and wasted the potential that exists in what is, it's a regular band, but it almost feels like a super group, you know, with the amount of talent and potential that's here. And I'm sad because I wanted this album to be more than it was. I mean, I got tracks out of it: Bend, Get Enough, Lets Me Down, and Void. I wanted to like happier, but I felt like the fade out at the end, even for a closer, was like 20, 30 seconds too long.
Yep, I agree.
This album the band has the makings to make something that I could theoretically call my favorite album of all time. I mean, all the elements and pieces are there, and then when I don't get it, it just track 5, it lets me down, right? Like I'm frustrated. This album frustrates me because I don't think it's objectively bad. I just want more, and it's the potential's there. They have the ability to do it, so give it to me. Like man, I don't know. It needs more balance, and I think they could achieve it. And
I think with a greater balance
of
of clean vocals on this album, I would enjoy this a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
But the uncleans don't work for me already, and when they're so dominant on every single song other than Bend, it's hard for me to get into it.
Yeah. I just, man, this album upsets me. Yeah.
But at least I have Bend. Smile.
At least we have Bend.
That's true.
God bless Bend.
God bless that song. As if we hadn't reiterated that enough in the last month's episode.
Mm-hmm.
Just for good measure.
Wait, Justin, you have to say it too.
God bless Bend.
God
There it
bless
goes.
Bend.
Well, guys, how about we end the episode on a note that hopefully on an album that we all enjoyed a little bit more. Imminence.
A little bit.
I mean, that's not hard to do.
Oh, you're not wrong. Imminence have dropped their new album, Heaven in Hiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Berg.
Yeah, that's
Eddie
one
Well,
way to put it.
let me tell you, this is how you do not release an album. I am disappointed with how this album was released.
Why so?
Okay, first we get Temptation as a single. That's fine. We get Heaven in Hiding as a second single.
Yeah, fuck that.
No, it was fine at the time.
No.
It was fine at the time
this is the
until
problem.
it
This
became
is the
the
problem.
closing track.
Yeah, this is the problem. They don't tell us that it is the closing track. They don't even tell us it's the title track. They just release it as a single. Whatever. So we're all listening to it like, oh, this is a good song, right? Yeah. And there's this thing at the end. Could you imagine listening to this whole album, getting to the breakdown at the end of Heaven in Hiding for the first time, and hearing that?
That would have
like
been a
the
surreal
closer?
experience. That
It
would
would
have
have
been a
been
surreal
amazing.
experience.
I'm so mad that they released Heaven in Hiding as a single and did not tell us that it was the closer.
Glad
That
you and me are
really
pissed about
pisses
the
me off.
last two albums we're talking about.
It aggravates me so much.
I think it's especially potent knowing that Imminence was your #1 album of 2019.
Yes.
So your expectations
He's got more
for this
ethos than the
were
rest of us.
extremely high going into this.
Yeah.
See, thankfully, I went into this album pretty clean. Like the only singles I really gave multiple listens to were Chasing Shadows and Alleviate, and I came out probably for the better, I would say, because I didn't remember much of Heaven Hiding when that came out. I didn't like Temptation when it came out, but I liked it better in the context of the album. And I'm gonna say after a couple listens, this album's probably gonna grow on me as better than Turn the Lights Off, just because there's a lot more that I can go back and listen to on this album. But as a whole, I think Turn the Light On is done better.
I think,
And I don't think that's gonna be hard to argue here.
I think as a whole album, Turn the Light On is better. It's kind of like plotting you with Dispose and Swan Song. That's how I feel about this. God, Heaven Hiding pisses me off though. It sucks too because all the other singles were so amazing, and actually, honestly, after Enslaved, I'm kind of disappointed, to be honest.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. Disappear and Lost and Left Behind are definitely the two most forgettable tracks on this album.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
Lost and Left Behind is like my favorite song on the album.
Sweeper.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with you guys too, actually.
And
Yeah,
then,
there we go.
Whatever the Arabic song is,
It translates to "This too shall pass."
Okay. I think it's a good piece
It's
of art.
Persian.
I just don't know if I necessarily agree with it being where it is.
That's true. Especially with what do you call it? Instrumental track right after.
Yeah. Just generally, I think a lot of the track placement on this album is not working for me, and that's not to say that like because obviously the tracks are placed in a certain order for a certain reason. I haven't picked up on that reason yet. But I think, like, just off of my understanding of the singles and the album as a whole, I much would have preferred Ghost to not be the first track on this album. I mean, following I Am Become a Name. I mean, I guess it makes sense having that, like, lead in as, like, an atmospheric opening into Ghost. But I still almost would have liked to have heard Ghost a little bit deeper into the album. Same with, like, an Alleviate. I would have liked to have heard Alleviate a little bit deeper into the album. And Heaven and Hiding probably being the biggest sin, as you had already mentioned, Jacob, being the closing track in the way that it is. I also feel like there's a lot of songs on this album that sound really similar in the way that they just throw in surprise breakdown at the end because.
First chorus, surprise breakdown.
Yep.
Or breakdown.
And it works the first time. It works the second time even. But I almost feel like it doesn't become a surprise. It's just not a surprise at a certain point, and that ruins the entire point of having a breakdown where they place the breakdowns in a lot of these songs.
Yeah, you get to like Enslave, Disappear, Lost and Left Behind. It's like, oh, I've already heard this before. On the album.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't want to say
those songs would be better out. I think those would be better off without breakdowns. Sure, they're good breakdowns. Either just get rid of them or put them in typical breakdown spot before the final chorus. I don't know. Too many surprise breakdowns just negates it. Anyway, go Derek.
Well, I was just going to say, I didn't want to present it at the start because I didn't know how everybody was feeling, but I feel like this is a really bad album full of really good songs.
Yes.
That's a good way to put it, actually.
Dude, all the singles were amazing. Every single one.
I think that all the songs on here that aren't, and I guess actually no, all the songs on here that aren't Alleviate are really good.
What?
I don't like Alleviate.
Whoa.
Alleviate didn't connect with me. I'm sorry. I
No.
just
What?
don't
Bad
like
take.
it. I don't
No.
like it.
Bad
I don't
take.
like
That's
it
a bad-
at all.
Bad take.
Get out
Bad
of
take.
here.
I listened to this for the first time earlier today, and I was gonna eat lunch, and I was like, shit. I was listening to this before I made lunch, and I'm like, shit. Well, what could I do? And like, well, I could listen to this as I ate lunch, or I could watch YouTube. And I got to the end of Surrender, and I was like, wow, everything I've heard so far sounds the fucking same. I'm bored. I'm gonna go watch YouTube. And so then I ended up having to finish this album in 2 doses, and the songs continued to kind of blend together. And the other thing that pisses me off is that you've got a fucking violin interlude as the second to last track to the closer, which is a, regardless of whether or not we've heard it, which again is a crime against humanity, you could have that lead into it so easily. Do you know how much fucking energy a violin brings? And it's just 51 seconds of him playing the violin, and it tapers off into nothing, and then the closer plays. And the same thing with the intro. The intro track, at like 1 minute 50 seconds, you've got this massive amount of energy building, and it just tapers off and doesn't transition into anything. Why?
Like,
for what reason?
I think of like a sun killer into a hurt you type of thing.
Yes,
Right?
please.
Well, I Am Become a Name could so easily do that into Ghost. And when Ghost is already by far the best song on this album, in my opinion. That would make it even better. And you have that take.
Dude, everybody's on edge right now.
Well, it's because this album it's like the volumes problem, but on crack. Because you've given us incredible past material. I saved every single song on this album that wasn't.
I just remembered something. I have a fantastic comparison for this album, and it might seem out of left field, but Holding Absence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I have a different one. Dark Skies by Fit for a King in the way it was released.
I haven't heard that, so.
I wasn't listening to that at the time it was released, so I don't know.
They basically released 6 singles on a 10-track album. They also released the closer as well.
Oh, fuck that.
My point with Holding Absence being like, it is so clear that Holding Absence album and this Imminence album are pieces of art. They just don't come together for me, and it's frustrating.
So for me, I would say that a Holding Absence is more like front to back. It works as an album. This doesn't. This is a collection of singles that all sound very similar to one another, with 2 tracks that somehow sound different thrown at the very end before a closer that we've already heard. I am going to revisit every single song from this album besides Alleviate on shuffle in my playlist, and I'm going to love them. I am actively bored listening to this album because it all sounds the same.
It's such a weird paradox. It's so weird. It's frustrating.
Eddie Berg is so talented vocally with playing the violin. The rest of this band, the sound they create is fantastic. It's almost too much of a good thing with not enough variation, and it's just frustrating.
Kind of like the Phineas album.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say that was more extreme.
I think that this is more extreme, actually, and I think it aggravates me more because I like the songs on here more than I like the songs on that Phineas album.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
So this is going to be the biggest. This is my angriest recommend of the year, I think, because there's so much good to like here. I mean, we spent so long bashing on it. I mean, it's a fantastic musical display.
I see on Twitter that they like poured everything into this, like.
That's why I'm just like, I'm not upset by it. I like it for what it is, but I kind of wish there was more. Like more to, grasp off of it instead of it just being a collection of singles. I'm not gonna argue that point.
I think the track listing could use more work in its order, and I think the way the singles were released. Well, actually, just have it in hiding.
Yeah. Now, see, I think that's the single order release. I don't blame that on Imminence. I blame that on the record.
Like the label.
The label, yeah, absolutely. Labels absolutely decide what singles get released, and I blame that not on the band. So the album in itself, I don't really dislike for that reason. It's more so. I wish they separated the single releases, kept Heaven and Hiding separate, Maybe release it day of if you were going to release a single, or release it like that same week, just to like build up the hype for what was coming, and then you still have it still have it within the album. It's new, so it hasn't been released for months. So those that still haven't checked it out can still check it out and it feel fresh. And then those who have checked it out can just go back and still listen to it. Because I feel like that month span where it was just there, I felt like that. I felt like that kind of ruined it.
I need to set this rule for myself. If I know a closer is being released and I know it's the closer, I cannot listen to it. I cannot.
Yeah, honestly. I know we've been like bashing this album a lot. I do want to make mention of one song that I don't think we have mentioned at all yet, with Moth to a Flame, because that is by far my favorite of the non-singles. I love the way that song builds, and surprise, surprise, it has anthemic backing vocals, the key to literally make me enjoy any song. No wonder it's my favorite non-single. But I also think it has a really awesome chorus and a sick breakdown as well. Again, I remember when we talked about Heaven in Hiding as a single way back. The opening to that song, I was like, oh shit, is this the Imminence song that like fully convinces me on this band is fucking sick? And then like the intro is fantastic, and then it just drops off into the first verse with all the instrumentation drops off, and I'm like so disappointed. That's kind of how I feel with Moth to a Flame, where you have this sick build up for the first like 45 seconds, and then it like drops off for a second into the chorus. If you put like a riff or just something there instead of like a short gap into a chorus, Moth to a Flame would be my favorite song on this record easily. But alas, Ghost is the one and only Imminence song that has really, really stood out to me to this point.
Yeah, I think Derek put it perfectly. This is my angriest recommend of the year. That is.
I also think Derek put it
perfectly said.
perfectly in the what was it? Something about like a collection of singles, but a disaster of an album or something like that.
Yeah,
you said?
it's a bad album with a lot of really good songs on it.
Yeah. I think that's the perfect way to encapsulate this album.
I feel like I'm on the same page as I was, surprisingly enough, on the Holding Absence record, where, you know, I like it for what it is. I'm not too fussed about the orders and whatnot, since you know it's a lot of good songs. But I'm not saying you guys aren't wrong, because you guys are right.
The problem I have with comparing it to Holding Absence is that feels like an album to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a collection of singles.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Before we end off on this, actually, one other thing. I think this album is better than Turn the Light On. I still probably have not given that album a fair chance, even though I've tried listening to it.
Not.
No, I have tried listening to that album in full like at least like 5 times. And every time I like add like 2 more songs to my playlist. Like the first time we listened to that album back in 2019, I added like 3 songs to my playlist. And then I listened to it a few months later, I added like 2 more. And then last year Infectious finally clicked for me.
Yeah,
but,
I'll say after 5 times, and yeah, that's enough.
But like this album, like the individual tracks work for me a lot more than on that album. It just doesn't all come together in one cohesive piece. As we have mentioned like at least 7 times already.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a good place to leave this discussion, unless there's any other points to end.
I feel like we need to say that you should still listen to this.
Yes.
Because I'm so
we're only mad out of
this.
passion. Yeah.
That's why we're angry, because we love this band.
Yeah.
Or I do, and Justin does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well then, that wraps up our November recap. Our final recap for the year of 2021 before our end of year awards. We are still going to be doing a December recap in January at some point. Probably going to be another shorter episode due to likely quieter release month, with it being the end of the year.
If December 3rd has anything, you're dead wrong.
December 3rd being like probably the only date where anything important releases. and then I'm not expecting much later into the month of December. I'm expecting it to be a quieter month, similar to this one. Yeah, this is our last episode before our end of year awards, which I don't think we fully mentioned it in the beginning of the episode. We probably should have. But we are making some changes to our end of year awards from last year.
Because we're idiots.
Yeah, basically.
And ambitious.
Yeah, so without giving away too much, instead of doing just 2 episodes, we're doing 3 episodes. Top 10 albums is staying. And then the other 2 episodes are going to have dedicated moments for singles and EPs and some other superlatives that we want to hand out to bands and artists and songs, etc. So you'll have to wait a few weeks for that to come out in December. But until then, I hope you enjoyed this episode of our November recap. As much as I feel like we ended on a very infuriating note, I really enjoyed this month, especially the singles. I think,
Yeah, I agree.
like, even with how strong of a month September was overall, like, I think September knocks this month out of the water in terms of albums. Not even close, but singles wise, I almost think I would take November over September.
I think for man,
I agree.
For singles, this is probably my least favorite month. Although we had Bad Omens, so.
But like for me, like let me just list off a couple of names here: Stand Atlantic, Future Palace, Bad Omens, Amaranth, Rain City Drive, Conquer Divide, and Cyan Kicks. Like, how many more like S tier bands, in my opinion, can you drop in 1 month? You know, like I was treated with the good shit this month, so that's just my opinion anyway.
No, I think that this is one of my favorite months of the year for singles.
Damn.
Glad we're on the same
Those are
page.
the minority.
October. I think October was one that I only added like 3 to, right?
Yeah, you added I think 4.
This one I added like 3 or 4. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
You two switched spots this month.
Exactly.
Actually, before we do head out, there's one other thing I want to mention. We didn't end up talking about it, but Cyan dropped their album, the Jared Dines, Howard Jones project. We didn't have all time to listen to it. I gave it 1 listen, and I briefly just want to make note of it because I don't think any of us will bring it up in our end of year awards.
You don't know.
I would be surprised anyway, at least based on my opinion. But I really enjoyed the first 4 tracks of that album. The rest of it, I need more time with, or I just don't like. I don't know. But definitely go check it out because it's a fully independent release with like no support from anyone other than those 2, as far as I'm aware. Amongst all the other like independent bands that we talked about this episode, but just to throw it out there at the end that if we were recording this next week, I feel like we probably would have thrown the Cyan album in here to discuss it more, but due to time constraints, it just wasn't feasible to all of us have listened to it and get all our thoughts in. Any last comments before I wrap up the episode for tonight, fellas?
Yeah, since you mentioned an album that we dropped, I was originally gonna add a band called Salem that I've been into for quite a bit, but they had a novelist feature.
I'm surprised you didn't add
end
that to the list of singles.
I didn't end up adding it because I didn't like it all that much. Unfortunately, I also needed more time with it because it only released a couple days ago. But there will come another time when that band will. I'll share some light into it, but not this month.
Derek, Jacob, any last comments here?
Just excited for the end of the year.
Hell yeah. Definitely stay tuned. Follow on social media at Hivemind Radio _ on Instagram and Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Spotify at Hivemind Radio Recap. You don't want to miss the end of year episodes. I know if our first ever end of year awards last year in 2020 were anything to go by, some of, I think, our favorite episodes we've ever recorded. And
easily. I still go back to it.
I'm hoping that our 2021 awards live up to it and produce some even more incredible moments to talk about our favorite music of the entire year. So with that being said, thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed our November recap. We hope you enjoyed not a 3-hour length podcast this month.
Almost.
For the first time in
Almost.
forever. And yeah, have a good night. Have a good afternoon whenever you're listening to this. Thank you for listening for the third time, and we'll see you in our end of year awards episodes coming out in a few weeks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.